Their rotation especially has started off the year unbelievably. Ours has done pretty well too. But I think that it's one of those things where when you're facing a team who's got a rotation like theirs, you kind of realize that runs are probably going to be hard to come by. So not that you put any more pressure on them, but it's just like you said, it's part of the game. You're aware of it, and I think that it maybe puts a little bit more emphasis on everything.
Michael Brantley extended his hitting streak to 13 games last night, and in the process gave the Indians an early 2-0 lead. But it would not last. Alex Bregman and the Astros' big bats responded. He went deep, and so did Jake Marisnick. And the Astros land the first punch in this 4-round fight between the defending world champions and the Central Division leading Cleveland Indians here at Progressive Field. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. You heard Corey Kluber say that in a matchup like this, you figure runs are going to be at a premium. And when you face Corey Kluber, he's very difficult to score on here at home. He's unbeaten in 5 starts, and his ERA is under 2.
Well, what you try to do to good starters is get them early. And Corey Kluber was his typical self in his last start. He went 7 innings. He gave up just 2 earned runs. It came on a 2-run home run. He had 10 strikeouts, so his streak continues of, quality starts, 2 runs or 3 runs or less. But he was dominant, and on the other side of that, they were able to jump Dallas Keuchel early. Michael Brantley, this hit really hurt him going into the Crawford boxes to give them the lead, and then they continued with 3 more extra bases hits in the inning. And boy, they have to make him bring the ball up. You stay aggressive as a hitter early because he likes to expand his zone and nibble a little bit. But he's pitched very well in this ballpark. A big 2-out base hit by Kipnis gave them their 3rd run in that first inning. So that was their MO last start.
We'll see if the Indians can continue to keep Keuchel on the ropes here tonight. It's game 2 of this 4-game series. When we come back, Alan Jensen had the big story of a big name in Boston who got his walking papers today. And we'll check in with Andre Knott ahead of tonight's first pitch next. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. And by Cleveland Clinic Express Care online. Tap the app for 24/7 virtual visits.
Kipnis and his young fan Grayson there. Indians getting set to battle the Astros. Kluber versus Keuchel. Great pitching matchup tonight, and maybe Jason Kipnis, who knows, can hit a homer for Grayson. He's Jensen Lewis. I'm Al Pulowski. Let's take a look at our big story. And for today, that's Hanley Ramirez, who's been designated for assignment by the Boston Red Sox. So if he makes it through waivers, Red Sox have to pay his entire contract, and he can play for somebody at the league minimum.
It's an interesting move, but I think a lot of it predicated on trying to keep him from reaching a plate appearance total that would have vested an option, and that's a ton, $25 million that the Red Sox would have been on the hook for next year. Mitch Moreland is going to be the guy that gets the lion's share of time in his stead. He's been hitting really well. One other note for you today, Alex Colomé, Denard Span just traded from the Tampa Bay Rays to Seattle. Remember, Seattle losing a couple of guys, D. Gordon in center field, so Span more than likely your starting center fielder for the Mariners now.
All right, tonight here at Progressive Field, we have the Indians and the Astros and a great pitching matchup. Matt Underwood and Rick Manning have the call. Let's head upstairs now. Fellas.
It was a great matchup the last time these two hooked up down in Houston, and it went the way of the Indians. And hopefully that's the same outcome we'll see here tonight as the Indians hope to even this series up at a game apiece. Always fun to watch Corey Kluber pitch, no question about that. And with more on that story, we go downstairs to Andre Knott, who has our Hear Right sounds of the game.
Thank you very much, Matt. You know, anytime Corey Kluber's on the mound, it's a big matchup for the other team. And usually when you're Jose Altuve and you've had as many hits as he's had over the last few years, it's a big matchup for that pitcher. I talked to Corey Kluber about what to do against a guy that hits anything and everything that you put over the plate or even off of the plate. It was a funny conversation because the Indians so far have done a decent job against Altuve.
You try to, mix speeds on him, move locations, and, just try not to fall in patterns and try to execute pitches and realize that even though sometimes you might make a good pitch, you're still going to find a way to, get the bat on it and put it somewhere where somebody's not. I mean, you just got a knack for finding holes.
It's amazing because this guy can hit the ball as well as anybody, and he's one of the best hitters in the game, and he's still going to fail 65% of the time. And that's hitting 350. But he's a tough out. He's fun to face, I'm sure. And I guarantee you the Indians have done a nice job on him.
That's why last night was so, to me anyway, just sitting here, as he came up for his last at bat, I said to myself, I don't know if I've ever seen him go 0 for 5 in a game before.
Right.
But there it was. It happened.
Don't
we
ask.
saw it.
Don't think about it. Just keep going. We've got 3 more games to see an 0 for.
Well, it is an absolutely perfect Friday night for baseball in downtown Cleveland. Perfect for whatever you want to do because the joint is jumping. Not only are we going to have a lot of folks here at Progressive Field, they're still filing in, but across the plaza, the arena will be packed tonight with Cavaliers fans. It's win or else for the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight against the Boston Celtics. We'll keep you updated throughout the evening on what's happening over there as well. But right here, it's Kluber night.
Yes, it is. It certainly is, and he will be the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. Kluber looking for win number 8. The last time out, he was the first pitcher in baseball to get to 7 wins, and he has a 2.36 ERA. He's 6-3 in his career against Houston, and he's going to go out there and do the same thing, try and make these guys swing and miss, hit them at your players, get a few strikeouts. He had 10 strikeouts in his last start against Houston, and he went 7 innings.
Let's take a look at the Houston Astros starting lineup tonight. For manager A.J. Hinch, George Springer. 9 for his last 23 at the plate last night. He had a double, a couple of runs scored, a couple of stolen bases. He was tough. Alex Bregman hitting second, then Jose Altuve. Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, Yuli Gurriel in the middle. Evan Gattis, hard swinging DH, will be at 7th. Max Stassi, the catcher, hitting 8th. And Tony Kemp, center fielder, bats 9th.
The Indians defense brought to you by Jeep. It is Brantley in left field. Davis gets the start in center. Greg Allen is over and right. On the infield, Jose Ramirez at third. Francisco Lindor at short. Jason Kipnis is at second. Edwin Encarnacion gets the start at first with the lefty on the mound. Yan Gomes doing the catching.
James Hoy will call the balls and strikes. Lance Barrett at first base. Tony Randazzo down at second. And the crew chief, Bill Welke, is at third. 79 degrees at game time here tonight. No breeze really to speak of. What What little breeze appears to be maybe blowing in, but I don't think it's even going to be a factor. As warm as it is, the ball will jump if you can square one up tonight.
No question about it.
And folks in Northeastern Ohio have been waiting for a day like this for a long time.
And it's just the kickoff to a nice long holiday weekend.
That is true. Corey Kluber looks in. We're ready to go. George Springer occupies the right-hand hitting batter's box. And Kluber with a fastball strike to start the night.
You know, it amazes me. The first pitch of the game's on the block on the outside corners. You know, like it's nothing.
No cookie.
You know, some guy gets up there. No, nothing, just down the middle to get a strike. It's on the edge.
Swung out and missed with a breaking ball, and Springer almost spun himself into the ground. It's 0-2.
And don't think the hitters don't know that he's going to throw strike one. So, I mean, you got to be up there looking to get aggressive. If they can get to it, they're going to be swinging.
And that's why Kluber has continued to impress. As the 0-2 is lined into right field. Nice piece of hitting by Springer. Is that every pitch Kluber throws has a purpose.
Right.
There's no such thing as a, well, I'll just lay one in there to get a strike. Every pitch has a purpose. Not every pitch is perfect.
That's off the plate. That you tip your cap to the hitter. That was an 0-2 pitch that tried to get that comeback fastball in the outside corner, and he still hit it, and it was about 4 to 6 inches off the plate. So not much you could do there. He's hot. He's swinging a very good bat and having a good series against the Indians.
The Astros did get 6 hits off Corey Kluber in 7 innings when they faced him in Houston. And that's saying something, because coming into tonight, he'd only allowed 51 hits in 72 innings of work.
He's talking about the shadow. I saw, I was reading his lips, the shadow when you're looking into that sunshine and you have the pitcher in the shadow. He has 3 stolen bases this year. All have come against the Indians. 2 last night, 1 back in Houston. That's what they're looking at. The first baseman, the first base coach, and the base runner. And that umpire's right there too.
Bregman is riding an 8-game hitting streak. So he's in a really good spot offensively, but he swung and missed at a pitch there to even the count. It was off the plate. I was kind of thinking in my mind, Rick, you know, if you're A.J. Hinch, do you think about, even though it's the first inning, hey, let's try hit and run. If we get in the count in our situation, you try to press against a guy like Kluber, especially when you got a hot hitter at the plate.
Well, no, you're going to let your hitter swing, I think. You know what I mean? He's been hot. They have patience over there. As we said last night, they get off to slow starts. And the second time through, third time through, they get better. Middle innings of the game and move on. So I don't think he's going to push the envelope. But let me tell you this. Hitters were 2 for 30 when Kluber had an 0-2 count on him before that base hit by Springer. So that's where you tip your cap to George Springer and say, good job of hitting.
We'll see if Kluber can put Bregman away here. Springer draws the throw. Encarnacion getting the start at first base with the left-hander on the hill. Yonder Alonso will be a bat off the bench. This is similar to what Tito did when the Indians faced Dallas Keuchel down in Houston. Alonso did not start, but he came in to the game as a pinch hitter when they went to the bullpen. Rolling away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Bregman, 2 for 4 last night with a double and that home run, a big one. They really turned the tables in this game. Two, foul the other way.
Yes, that's one thing that Corey's going to have to do is maybe pitch in a little bit, because it seems like when they get to 2 strikes, they're just going to look away, away, away and make the adjustment. They just faced him last week. And they may have to just move him off the plate a little bit more instead of keeping everything away. Keep him honest.
Corey Kluber makes in-game adjustments about as well as any pitcher.
No question. He sees what the hitters are trying to do. There you go, inside. There
Jammed
it was.
him, popped him up.
Now you see what we were talking about, and he had the 2-2 pitch, that first pitch. He went out there, and it might have been off the plate, and he hit him just like Springer did. So he knew it was time to come in. But with Kluber, he has enough control. He can come in and make it for a strike or just off the plate.
And that's interesting you mentioned that, because there are some pitchers, nobody's coming to mind, but we've seen pitchers who are dominant to one side of the plate, but the other side, they can't. They can't go in there when they have to.
There's a lot of pitchers that have a tough time throwing a strike on the inside part of the plate. You know, if they go in for effect off and then go right back out away. If you go in and prove you can throw a strike, that really opens up the outside part of the plate.
Fouled away to the right by Bregman. Making him work 10 pitches already for Kluber.
Well,
all the weight of them have been strikes.
And this is a good young player here, and he's swinging the bat very well. Started off a little slowly, but had a good year for him. And he's going to be around a long time. He fits into that spot very well, that number 2 hole between Springer and Altuve. What a place to hit, huh? You know you're going to get some pitches to hit because Springer's always on, and Altuve, you don't want to put any more than one guy on when he's coming up.
Just off the plate. It was just 3 summers ago that Alex Bregman was the 2nd overall pick in the draft. So when you think about how quickly he went from being a top pick prospect to bang, he's
in
here.
The big leagues and succeeding. Well, they should start the runner here with Bregman going, even though Kluber's a strikeout pitcher. Maybe stay out of the double play if they do.
Runner goes. Strike 3 called. Throw down. They got him in a rundown. Springer says, I give up.
He just quit.
2 down. A double play as George Springer got about just past the halfway point and realized, I have no chance.
Well, you just don't stop and walk off. You got to get into a rundown. There's a chance of maybe throwing the ball away. It may be a slight chance, but you just don't quit and walk off the field. No way, man. That's why your manager starts you. He thought that Bregman might put it in play because he was swinging well, but you got to get in a rundown.
Never surrender, right?
Never.
So 2 down for Jose Altuve. Storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Cy Young versus MVP. Here's your matchup right here. And Michael Brantley. And he is on fire right now with a 13-game hitting streak. Now the 0-1 to Altuve. And Corey Kluber pumped up now. It's 0-2. Two-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. Corey Kluber whiffs the reigning MVP on 3 pitches. The Astros do not score. The Indians are coming to bat.
That'll be the Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. And Keuchel, in his last start against the Indians, they roughed him up early. 3 runs in the first inning. He's 4-1. That was his first loss against the Indians. He's pitched well in this ballpark, but this is a guy they're going to try and make him get it up. They're going to try and shoot him early in the count because if he can get ahead, he expands his zone with balls.
Indians starting 9 for Tito, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Frankie, Brandt, Ramirez, Edwin, Melky, and Gomes, Kip, Raj, and Greg Allen. Chopped to third. On the run, Bregman. It's a fair ball. The throw is high, but Gurriel did a great job of keeping his foot on the bag for out number 1.
Yeah, you know, that is the home plate umpire's call because it didn't reach third base. And it looked like it might have hopped foul at the end. You'll see it there. But, you know, his call, he said it was in fair territory, awfully close.
Yeah, Bregman blocks out the third base
Yeah,
umpire.
he does. Well, and plus he caught it in front of the bag, so that really is that call, and he helped out the crew chief, Bill Welke.
Heck of a play on both ends. 1 down for Michael Brantley. He has 20 hits during his 13-game hitting streak. Pitch down and in. Brantley 4th in the American League. See that he's now 2nd. He moved up 2nd in the American League in batting average. The 1-1 fouled back. There's the 13-game hitting streak numbers.
Well, he's the one I think that sort of shook up Keuchel when we were in Houston. He hit that little home run to left field. He didn't hit all that much of it, but it got into the Crawford boxes and gave him a quick 1-0 lead. And Keuchel was, I think, shaken a little bit. And they were able to take advantage of it.
In the dirt. Just missed. You know, the other thing about Brantley, and I guess this isn't a shock, but just another example of how impressive he is as a hitter. He's batted .309 against lefties.
Yeah.
So he's more than held his own.
Well, that take right there where he just had, it was unbelievable.
Smacks this one towards center, but they had him defensed perfectly. And Tony Kemp makes the catch 1 down, or 2 down.
Let's check out that Astros defense behind Keuchel, #1 in the league. It'll be Gonzalez in left. It'll be Kemp in center and Springer over in right. On the infield from third to first, Bregman. Correa is shortstop. Altuve at second. Gurriel is at first. Stassi doing the catching.
So 2 down for Jose Ramirez. The 1-0 in there for a strike. Jose was 1 for 3 last night, also drew a walk. And he grounds this one right to the shortstop Correa, and the Indians go 1-2-3. We are scoreless after 1 in Cleveland.
With Indians home screen icons and features like the MLB TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, news, live radio broadcasts. Download MLB at Bat today.
Second inning, no score. Carlos Correa to lead off for Houston. Third best road batting average in the league for Carlos Correa. He's hitting .356 away from Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, they're a better offense away from home, and you know it's hard to believe because you would think they fit their own ballpark very well.
The 1-0 grounded towards second base. Kipnis, good range to his left, one away. Stat of the game tonight brought to you by Buick. Indian starters following a loss, pretty good. As a ball club, they're 14-4, and Corey Kluber in particular, 4-1.
Well, that's what your best does. He stops losing streaks, or never lets them keep going.
Marwin Gonzalez, the only switch hitter in the Houston lineup. They are a predominantly, not predominantly, they are a right-handed hitting lineup.
Yes.
They have Gonzalez, who's a switch hitter, and then occasionally Brian McCann, excuse me, Brian McCann will catch. He's a left-handed bat. But now Josh Reddick's on the DL. He gives them another left-handed bat occasionally. But I mean, they've got the crux to their lineup bats from the right side, especially those top guys: Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel, who's in the on-deck circle. Kind of reminds me of that guy standing next to A.J. Hinch, those old Tiger lineups under Jim Leland.
Yeah, they were all
right-handed dominant.
Absolutely.
So for Justin Verlander, it's almost like a former vision of that same lineup.
It's been a new lease on life for him. We will not see him pitch in this series, and he's having one of the best years of his career, and it's hard to believe, but he is. And I shouldn't say it's hard to believe, because we've seen him have some dynamite years in this division.
I think when he got traded last year, there's no doubt it was a jolt. I mean, an adrenaline surge for him, and
it picked him up, man.
He pitched great for them down the stretch and into the postseason.
He embraced the situation.
But what's really impressive, Rick, is that winning it all didn't seem to placate him to where, okay, now I've got it all. Now I'm good.
Right.
No, he's just as hungry as when he was a young pitcher.
Yes, he is. He's an animal, because he's still throwing in the mid to high 90s, still giving you innings, and his ERA is 1.08.
We speak glowingly of Verlander probably because the Indians had their way with him on many, many occasions. Swung on and missed. Down goes Marwin Gonzalez, and Corey Kluber already with 3 strikeouts here tonight. 2 down in the inning.
Well, you get him to swing over the top of the breaking ball. There it is, down. It started off a ball, so you know it's not going to be a strike. But in that batter's box, you see it coming, and you think it's going to be there, and it disappears.
Now Yuli Gurriel. He was 2 for 4 last night, scored a run. Checks down a little way, ball 1. Gurriel has faced Kluber. He's had 9 at bats. He has 1 hit. To center field, and Rajay Davis will put it away. The Astros go 1-2-3. No score, middle of the second.
Shot
from the blimp with all of the action.
There is some action going on down here. Cavs start in about another hour.
Edwin Encarnacion leading off home half of the second. Really surprising that Encarnacion, not so much that, you know, the batting average is where it is, but only a .154 against left-handed pitching. You know, you and I were talking before the game, the Indians are a left-handed hitting. You know, as dominant as the Astros are right-handed, the Indians are that way on the left side. Correct. Which is why Edwin was so important to this team a year ago, and why he has an important role this year, but it hasn't come to fruition.
For a strange reason, a lot of people think because you're right-handed you can automatically hit left-handed pitching. That doesn't work that way. A lot of right-handers hit right-handers better than they hit left-handers. I think the Boston Red Sox, a predominantly right-handed hitting club, they struggle against left-handed pitching. And there's some other teams. Let me think of who else is out there, but they like the right-handers like the ball going away from them.
Edwin drives one deep right field. It is off the base of the wall, played perfectly by Springer, or excuse me, yeah, by Springer, and he holds Edwin to a long leadoff single.
Well, wise that he stopped. That looked like a little changeup away that he sliced to right field, and Springer played it beautifully. And you come in there, and he threw out Milky Cabrera last night after he stumbled with the baseball one time. But Encarnacion, he knows, I better not push it.
Arch, quick question.
Yeah.
Why do certain guys feel more comfortable against certain guys than others? Edwin had said after he hit the home run off of Lester the first time that he just feels comfortable against him. He's had big hits against Keuchel in his career. Why do you think just certain guys make hitters feel more comfortable than others?
Sometimes you pick up the baseball out of their hand better than you do somebody else. You know, you see it, yeah, for whatever reason, you just happen to see it better. And when you can pick up the baseball and you put on good swings, if you go through a slump and you see a guy all of a sudden get a couple hits and he's right on everything, he just sees the ball so much better that day.
I bring that up because Marwin Gonzalez has had a ton of success versus Kluber.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not putting down Marwin Gonzalez, but it's unbelievable when you look at his career numbers against Kluber and then just look at his career numbers. He obviously feels comfortable against him.
Yes, he does. For whatever reason, he may be one guy that can see something a little better than most hitters.
Milky Cabrera drives one deep right center field. It's up against the wall. Into third, Edwin Encarnacion will be held there. It's a double for Milky Cabrera, and the Indians are rolling here in the second.
Well, you talked about the ball carrying, Matt. That answers your question. It seemed like Springer and Kemp at center field were running forever.
Watch where this pitch is.
But, I mean, it hits the warning track, and it didn't matter if it goes over because Encarnacion down and away. He stayed on it beautifully and hit it out and drove it out to right field where it short hops the wall. And that's Eddie. That's it. Ho, ho, ho. Stop at third.
Thought you were comparing him to Santa Claus.
No, that's Sarbaugh. No, you stay right here.
Second and third, Yan Gomes now.
Well, the inning's set up, second and third. Nobody out.
This is one of those weird ones. So the Indians are having a phenomenal month of May, scoring runs. And a big reason for that has been their ability to hit with runners in scoring position. They're second best in the majors this month, batting .306 in these situations. And now here's Yan Gomes, who's having a good year offensively. Really good bounce back year compared to where he was a year ago. He's hit in 14 of his last 17. He's batting .281 during that stretch. But with runners in scoring position this year, mysteriously just 2 for 21.
He loses his patience. He tries to get aggressive. He tries too hard to drive it in.
And there you go, 3 pitches.
And you know what he did? He was consciously staying back to try and drive the ball the other way, and he just wasn't fluid and natural up there. Well, let's look at the pitches in the sequence. He's going to go up, little breaking ball in, upstairs above, and then away. You know, you can be a good hitter and have the patience, but when you get guys, some guys, they get so anxious and they squeeze the bat, and it's a matter of relaxing and believing that you're going to get it done.
Kip trying to pick up Gomes right here. The saxophone section is awaiting.
Well, they got to get one in this inning, second and third, nobody out, just to get that lead.
I wonder, does this mean anything to you for where Kipnis is at, showing small signs of improvement? In his last 45 plate appearances, only 3 strikeouts.
Well, yeah, it does. He's not swinging and missing. Yes, and he got robbed of a hit down the left field line last night of a double. You know, he's seeing the ball well. He's hitting. You know what? His approach against left-handers to me is he's got that approach. He's not trying to do too much. He's staying on the baseball. I think it changes a little bit going to the right side, even though it may not seem like it. But, you know, he's not trying to overswing. He's looking maybe for the ball away and just staying back and seeing it a little better off left-handers. Get a new bat.
Kipnis is batting 123 points higher against lefties than righties this year.
Well, he always did fare well against left-handers. You know, he was very, not out of touch. Him and Brantley could handle left-handers very well. It's just that the right-handers, that's the confusing thing for me, how all of a sudden you can have that drop off against righties when you supposedly see the ball better. Now you see Altuve cheating in at second base with 2 strikes. Correa's halfway, and with Encarnacion, they can play back and still, if they get a ground ball, come home if they wanted to. He tries to go, so they're going to make it go through.
Oh, good eye and a ball in the dirt. That's the pitch that Keuchel can get hitters who are overly anxious and trying to drive that run home will swing and chase that pitch.
Okay, that was the 2-2 pitch. Now, can you do it on a 3-2 pitch if you get that same pitch? Take it and take ball 4, because Keuchel's not going to give in. He's going to try and make you hit his pitch because first base is open. That's what I'm talking about.
Down and in.
See, hitters, hitters want to drive in the runs, and they're not just willing to take that ball 4 and walk to first base, and that's what happened. So Keuchel gets in trouble, and he gets the next 2 strikeouts. That's ball 4. So actually 2 hitters just got themselves out. So now we'll see if Davis can get a 2-out base hit and pick them up.
That's the kind of pitching that makes a Cy Young Award winner. When you're able to bear down,
come back. That's right.
You need 2 strikeouts and you get them. And now Rajay grounds to first, and the threat is squashed. No score after 2.
jersey. That'll be courtesy of Sugardale tomorrow night as we continue this series with the Astros. Come on out to the district, have fun. It's jam-packed tonight. There'll be fireworks after the ball game. Just go to Indians.com and get your tickets.
No score. Third inning. And Evan Gattis looks at a pitch outside. Boy, that's a huge pick-me-up, if you will, for the Astros, for Dallas Keuchel to pitch out of a second and third nobody out jam. Keep the Indians off the board. As you heard Corey Kluber at the very top of our telecast, it's not that you as a pitcher look at the other pitcher, but it is sort of in the back of your mind that runs are going to be hard to come by tonight.
Well, he got himself in that jam. He also got himself out of that jam. And that's what good pitchers do.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Evan Gattis. It's a guy that when he swings, there are no in-between half swing, check swings. He turns it loose.
Yes, he does. Trying to get him to expand his zone right there.
Gattis making his 34th start of the year. All of his starts have been at the DH position, but he has caught 5 innings for the season, so he'll jump back there if needed. Smack to left. This is going to get down and go to the wall. Gattis is going to turn and go for 2. Here's the throw by Brantley, and he's in there safely. A leadoff double for Evan Gattis. That'll be his 8th double of the year.
Had the leadoff single in the first, but here's a cutter right there. It stayed middle of the plate, and Gattis took advantage of it, drilled it down the left field line. So they will start their inning with a leadoff double.
Now Max Stassi, the Houston catcher, who has a hit in 6 of his last 7 games. And even though McCann, the other catcher, has good power, Stassi probably bucking for more playing time because he's swinging the bat well.
Yeah, and McCann got the start against Kluber last week in Houston. We were looking that up. So you're having a right-handed bat in there instead of left-handed. Kluber is a little tougher against righties. But if he's on, I don't think it matters. I want to send out a very happy birthday wish to Grace Maniloff, who is turning 11 today. Grace, happy birthday to you.
Number 11, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Closing in on those teenage years.
Her dad is here, so she's home watching the game.
Could you imagine being the guy who goes to the door and first date with Grace Maniloff and having to deal with Dennis?
Dennis. Well, Dennis, a writer, and has been here for years. No, I don't think I could, to answer your question.
Not want to be in that guy's shoes, put it that way.
It's the 8th hitter. Kluber 5-0, 2-1-2 counts to this point.
Now the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Corey Kluber with his 4th strikeout of the night. 1 down here in the inning.
For the Astros, batting 9.
This looked like a little cutter. A little more speed on it than his breaking ball. His fastball 92 to 94. There's that cutter anywhere from 88 to 90. And then the good slider or curveball, whatever you want to call it. That's in the lower 80s. And he has a changeup to left-handers as well. This is a guy that's off to a good start for Houston, just getting a chance, though. Maybe been here a week or 10 days.
Tony Kemp 7 for 18. He was called up when we were back in Houston. He's had an impact, made a couple good defensive plays already, especially against the Indians. And had a 5 RBI game against the Giants last week after we left town. Yes, he did.
They appeal, and that is the call by Bill Welke. He concurs.
Give me a blue shirt, and I'm going to ump it. He did. You could see it from here. So again, ahead in the count.
Dog night flying off the shelves.
Yes, sir. There'll be fireworks to follow too for the very first time this year. Oh,
just reached for
get him
it.
at third.
Lindor's got him caught. He'll run Gaddis back to the bag. He'll put the tag on him. Kipnis will. 2 down.
That's the play. Made a big, huge base running mistake because that swing, he was just trying to put it in play instead of swing through it. And that's exactly what he did, but he hit it to the shortstop, and then Gaddis tried to go to third base, and Lindor says, we will have none of that. Take him out of scoring position, so that base running mistake, he'll have 2 outs now and a man at first.
Boy, when Gaddis goes to the dirt and rolls back
Look
towards
out.
second base, get out of the way, Kip.
The steamroller. Looked like his beard was trying to rake the infield.
Oh, that's a flag.
Well, he went in head first. He was trying to get back to the base.
His beard was trying to rake the infield. 2 down, the speedy Tony Kemp is at first. Not running, and George Springer takes a strike. Kemp has stolen 2 out of 3 on the year. He has really good speed. We saw it on display last night. He stole a base. Up and in. They count 1-1.
Well, you get a fastball up and in, it'll make you move your feet. You see, that's getting them leaning away, and that's from hitting that first pitch for a base hit to right field. Is the, hey, you know what? Don't go out there and start leaning on me because I'm going to come back inside. That wasn't that far inside. Enough to make him get down because he's looking away, away, away. That'll keep him honest. I'll tell you what, you'd like to see more pitchers do that. You want to keep throwing outside, then you've got to keep them honest occasionally.
And again, when you have an all right-handed hitting lineup, that's essentially what you have to do.
Right.
Because they're going to play follow the leader. And the approach will be similar for a lot of the hitters. I remember our buddy Brian Anderson used to say that sometimes as a pitcher, you didn't mind it if a team just stacked their lineup from one side of the plate or the other, because you just kind of got locked into the same location and you just pitch to it. But when a lineup is staggered and you've got to consistently change your approach from hitter to hitter, that can be sometimes a little more problematic.
You've got to work both sides of the plate with all your pitches.
Foul back out of play to even the count at 2-2. George Springer with that single in the first inning means he has reached base now in 31 of his last 37 games. You can't ask much more from your leadoff man. And the fact that he leads the team in home runs. So sometimes he's not just getting on base, he's giving you the lead. Two in the dirt. What a block by Gomes. And now Kemp will be off at first on this pitch. With a right-handed hitter at the plate, though, Edwin can still hold that runner, Kemp, at least to the point where he can't just get a huge lead and take off.
Head start.
Grounded right back to Kluber. What a save by Corey. And the inning is over. Middle of the third, no score. Cleveland Indians at Astros scoreless. Cavaliers getting ready to get underway with the Celtics in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference
That's right.
Finals.
Must win for them.
Greg Allen leading off for the Indians here in the third. Last 9 games, he has 9 hits and he scored 3 runs. Swings and sends a fly ball to right center. Springer called off Kemp to make the catch. Player profile brought to you by Levin Furniture. Cy Young pedigree. Justin Verlander won it in 11 with a 24-5 record. Kluber in 14 with 269 punch-outs along with the 18 victories. And Dallas Keuchel in 15, and last year Corey Kluber won it again. I think the cool thing about both Keuchel and Kluber is that, you know, Justin Verlander, he was a high draft pick. He was rushed to the big leagues. I mean, he was kind of a big deal from day one. I don't know that anybody saw Dallas Keuchel and Corey Kluber coming as far as Cy Young.
Well, you're probably right. That's what makes it maybe that much more special. Yeah, I could see that. You know, when you're that high, that's more pressure on you to succeed and do well. But boy, he was up for the billing and has been. Won an MVP, a Cy Young.
Hit the mound and a big hop right to Altuve, who's able to throw out Lindor, and there are 2 down.
Goes to show you the hard work and dedication, what you have to do to go through it to become the best in that 1 year. You know, in your league, there used to be just one Cy Young award for both leagues. With, you know, before, now there's one in each league.
It's almost like, you know, again, and this isn't to take anything away from a guy like Verlander or CC Sabathia, but CC Sabathia, another first-round pick, highly touted. You know, he got here rather quickly, and he was a tremendous pitcher for a long time for the Indians. But when you get a guy that just kind of works his way from maybe obscure prospect to suddenly Cy Young Award winner, man, that's pretty amazing.
And there's been guys out there, Matt, that have had spectacular years, won 20 to 22 games with low ERAs and never won it because somebody had maybe that 1 year a little better than they do. It's all about when you have your great year.
Yeah.
Felix Hernandez won one year with 12 wins.
It's almost like the year, and again, I'm partial, I'm biased, but Kevin Millwood in 05, he won the ERA title, but he only had 9 wins there because they never scored when he pitched.
Right, that's my point. My point is you got everything's got the stars got to align right, and everything's got to go your way if you're going to win it.
Keuchel staring down Brantley, and now time called as he waited and waited and waited, and Keuchel wasn't offering a pitch. Nibbling at the bottom of the zone, and he just did nick that spot to get the call.
And this is what he does. All right, he's ahead of the hitter. Now watch where the next pitches are. They're going to be just either on the edge or just off the outside edge.
Bounce one there, 2-2.
Well, Brantley hit the slider for the home run back in Houston, so he's making sure if he throws Brantley the slider here, it's going to be down, and he'll miss with it down.
Throws it foul over the head of Sandy Alomar and went down to get out of the way. That's what all that cycling does for Sandy. He's still limber.
Yeah, but don't test the knees. They've got it. Sandy saying, look, don't low bridge me. You know, those knees, he caught for years. Those knees that are a little sore. I don't care how old you are.
Line drive, base hit. Oh, and look where Springer was playing him all the way over in right center field. So by the time he runs this down, Brantley's got himself an easy 2-out double.
That's Brantley. He can hit, man. He made him get the ball up a little bit. He fouled off some good pitches in that bat, and then ends up getting the hitting streak, keeping the hitting streak going, and gets himself a double. Look at that ball was up for him, and he just smokes it down into the corner for Brantley, his 12th double. So a 2-out opportunity now for Jose. Look at this.
Tell you what, I'm not so sure that if he doesn't cut that ball off, Brantley might have had a triple. Now with 2 outs, it's not maybe that big of a difference, but good hustle by Springer because he had to go a long way to cut that off. Now can the Indians strike with 2 outs? Jose Ramirez taking the strike. He grounded out his only time out. Ramirez has 22 runs batted in over his last 22 games. Just off the outside edge.
Well, I'll tell you, Gonzalez in left, Kemp in center, playing very shallow for Ramirez. So he better not make a mistake where he can turn on a ball.
Drilled to deep left field. Gonzalez looking up. It is off the wall. Scoring is Brantley. Ramirez into second with a 2-out RBI double. And the Indians take a 1-0 lead.
You know, there's a clutch 2-out base hit by Jose. And I think this was a changeup from Keuchel. And he made that mistake and allowed him to pull it because they were playing him. It's a changeup. There it is. There it stayed about mid-thigh, and it was on the outer part of the plate. There it is. There's the grip, and there's the swing. So it goes off the wall.
The only reason that ball stayed in the park is because it was just off the outside part of the plate.
Right. If it was in a little bit more, it would have been up in the seats.
Yeah, if he catches the barrel, that baby would have been long gone. Now here's Edwin Encarnacion. Smoked a single to right. And now he lines one to left. And it's caught by Gonzalez to end the inning. Back-to-back 2-out doubles. 1-0 Cleveland through 3. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, Andre Knott as usual. Visited now by Chris Bando. How are you?
Doing good. Good to be back in Cleveland.
Former second-round pick in 1978.
Long time ago.
I mean,
yes, yeah. We know that. I know that at least. I mean, we were teammates.
You were teammates,
yeah, absolutely.
Leading off is Alex Bregman, and he bangs a single right back through the middle off Corey Kluber here in the fourth. That's the third hit of the night for the Astros. Now, Chris, you grew up in Cleveland, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm Cleveland through and through. Indians fan, Browns fan, Cavs fan. I grew up in Solon, Ohio.
Now, how did the family get here to Cleveland?
Well, my dad and his 8 brothers and sisters, and my mom's 8 sisters and 3 brothers. They came from the old country, and they all settled in Cleveland, Ohio.
This is where it was.
And this is where we grew up as a family.
And so now, did you get drafted right out of high school by the Indians, or you went to college, right?
I went to college and was drafted my junior year by the Brewers, went back my senior year, and Cleveland drafted me in my senior year.
You think ASU, man, ASU, him and his brother Sal.
Yeah. You think they had an eye on you, though, being from a local product?
I don't know. I hope so. Jerry Dubzinski's another guy I played with growing up in the Sandlots, and so
Collinwood boy.
Yeah, so it was neat to play with him again, and because we played together in Sandlot ball.
Here is Jose Altuve with the leadoff man aboard for Houston in the 4th inning. How much age difference was there between you and your brother Sal?
12 years, quite a bit. He was more like a second father, looked up to, but he wasn't around a lot. He was playing baseball, but we followed him around in his minor league career and college career.
Was it ever burdensome for you being Sal Brando's brother? Did people say to you, how come you don't do this like Sal? How come you don't do that like Sal?
Oh, yeah, that comes with the territory. Yeah, you're only here because of him. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, yeah.
What's maybe your fondest memory of suiting up for the Indians' old Cleveland Stadium?
Actually, my first at bat in the big leagues when I got called up in AAA was against my brother, who was his last year in the big leagues, who was in the third base dugout with the Brewers just chirping on me. And guys that I grew up watching and worshiping, Raleigh Fingers on the mound. Here I am getting my first major league at bat against my brother and the guys that I just followed my whole life. That's a thrill that I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you're still a fan of the game. You watch the Indians. You say you listen to us all the time. And who was the best pitcher you ever caught?
Bert Blyleven.
Okay. Nasty curveball.
Yeah, him and Candiotti. So, I caught Candiotti and Necro, the 2 knuckleballers, but Bert was phenomenal. Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah, that was fun. And now, when you follow the game, what's the biggest change you see in this game now with the pitchers from when we played? Now you got guys coming out of a bullpen that can throw 95. It seems like everybody's pumping it up there at 95 to where you used to maybe have 1 or 2 guys on a staff that could get it up that hard.
Yeah, they're bigger, they're stronger.
Yeah.
They throw a lot. It seems like they throw a lot more breaking balls. I don't know. There's a lot more breaking balls being thrown. You've obviously got the shifts. You've got all that other dynamic in part of the game now, the statistical analysis where they hit the ball. So, but guys everybody throws 95. If you don't throw 95 or above 90, I mean, you're almost average or below average pitcher now.
Yeah, you're a rarity.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few of those guys around. But now the specialty of the bullpens.
Yeah.
We used to carry 9-man pitching staff, 10 at the most. You'd have your 5 starters, you'd have 5 guys out of the bullpen. They have 7 and 8 guys coming out of the bullpen now. Yeah. They come out and they just air it out until they can't pitch anymore.
Greg Allen makes the catch in right field to retire Jose Altuve. As we take a look at Corey Kluber's pitch chart here, this is what he's done on the year: 42% fastball, the cutter, and a breaking ball.
Well, that cutter is just off the fastball. It's not much of a change, when you just cut that fastball. It's like a little slider used to be, basically, and his curveball, people call it a slider, but it breaks like Blyleven's did, a big old. Yeah. To me, that's not a slider. A true slider is about 6 inches and it's late break, right?
Yeah, this has more depth to it.
We're visiting with Chris Bando, former Indians catcher, and Chris, you're no stranger to how the game has changed because you worked in player development, a number of different organizations, so you've seen, you know, the young players advancing through with the Indians organization and in Milwaukee as well. Have you, like, where did the game sort of, not the game change, but how players develop? Where did it maybe make that change to where we've gotten into this really specialization, you know, with the bullpen? You need a guy that can, you know, pitch the 6th inning. You need a guy that can pitch the 7th inning. You need a closer. You need a setup man. Can you pinpoint almost a genesis for that?
All I remember is when we used to play the Yankees, we knew that Ron Davis was going to come in for a couple innings and Goose Gossage was going to come in, so you had to get him by the 6th inning or 7th inning because they were going to close out the game. I mean, they've done it seems like forever over there in New York, but in the minor leagues, like you said, I think they're focusing on specializing some guys coming out of the bullpen. A lot of hard throwing starters are now going to the bullpen because it's more emphasized up here.
Now, I'm thinking back in the 90s is when the nutritional, the weight training, and everything like that started to come into play.
All these new cathedrals.
Well, you're right. The new ballparks, right? We played over in the old stadium. We had about 3 dumbbells under Jimmy Warfield's bench. You know, one was a 10-pounder, a 5-pounder, a 2.5-pounder, and that was about it. They didn't let you lift weights.
No.
They frowned upon it.
Yep.
1-2 pitch. Struck him out looking. Carlos Correa caught admiring a Corey Kluber fastball, and that's his 5th strikeout of the night.
That's one of the comebackers. You'll see that on the outside edge. Here it comes. You throw it away, and just look at the movement on that pitch. It comes right back. You give up on it as a hitter. You don't think it's going to come back, and the next thing you know, bingo.
Well, I hope Chris will be here to witness Cleveland Indians history. Corey Kluber, one more strikeout, will become the 3rd highest strikeout pitcher in Indians history.
Well, it'll be a big challenge because Marwin Gonzalez has pretty good numbers against Kluber.
Struck out his first time up. Takes a pitch just out of the zone for ball 1.
Then you had a quick chance this year to do your first fantasy camp, huh? Indians fantasy camp. You enjoy it?
Oh, it was a blast. Seeing you, Arch.
I haven't seen you in years. It's nice to go back. It's like the old fraternity days.
It is. All the ex-teammates you played with. And,
right.
Yeah, the camaraderie that you miss about the game. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Chris, for a guy that grew up here, Indians fan, you were probably indoctrinated into the history of the Indians from when you were knee high. To be standing here now and watching Corey Kluber potentially move into the same residency as Bob Feller and Sam McDowell, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it is amazing. It is amazing. It's there's so much talent that came through the organization at an early stage, and to see him do that, it's fantastic.
And as Rick and I were talking about, the great thing about baseball is you don't have to be a #1 pick and a highly touted prospect. Here's a guy who, was kind of fledgling along, and in the minor leagues, the Indians made a trade for him, and he continued to work and work and work, and maybe a late bloomer, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Now Kluber's 2-1 pitch. Backed him off, 3 balls and a strike. From a catcher's standpoint, is there one common trait that all the really great pitchers have?
Well, I think they obviously keep the hitter off balance, and I think as a former player, Arch and a lot of the guys tell me, hey, you hit off the catcher. You look at the catcher's patterns and how he's calling the game, and that's basically who you're hitting off of. And I think that's changed a lot, where they're calling a lot more consecutive breaking balls than I have ever seen before in my life. I look at Lance McCullers in the World Series, and how many curveballs did he?
23.
23 curveballs.
Yeah.
Typically, as a catcher, you never called more than 2. It's almost like, I call it the Texas two-step. You go hard, hard, soft, 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 hard, in and out, 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 in, down, down, up. Now, I mean, they may throw you 20 consecutive breaking balls.
See, the catcher can dance. The two-step. I like the Texas two-step. I like that.
Here's the payoff pitch. Popped in the air, slicing out of play down the left side. We'll do it again.
Yeah, it is a little different now. The changeups really come back into the game, I think. You know, it used to be the split-fingered fastball, but then they had a lot of elbow injuries. Now that changeup comes back into play, and if you don't throw a changeup, there's something wrong with you. You know, you get that. To me, that's a great pitch when you can locate your fastball and then throw that changeup. You could use that 1 or 2 times through the lineup if you can command it.
Corey Kluber uses it sparingly, but he's got such unbelievable command with his breaking ball.
Yeah, with anything, with his fastball, anything. He's one of the better control pitchers in the game, without a doubt.
Bregman will be off with a 3-2 pitch to Marwin Gonzalez. And he lines one into center field. It'll bounce in front of Rajay Davis, and on his way to third is Bregman. And now the Astros have runners at the corners with 2 down.
Well, they don't go quiet. Gonzalez, he battled Kluber, got the base hit, keeps the inning going. And now they're going to try and score on the Indians here at the top of the 4th.
So, Chris, when you're catching our good buddy Bert Blyleven, was he ever difficult with you?
No, he was very easy to read. I mean, we were on the same page. Yeah. He actually requested that I catch him on a regular basis, because I knew what Bert wanted to do. He'd pinpoint everything. I knew when he wanted to use his breaking ball. You have that rapport with the pitcher when you keep catching him, or you recognize you know what he wants to do. And I think that's why you see certain catchers catching certain pitchers. They just click better.
Whoa, bat goes flying toward the dugout of the Indians. We've seen that.
You know, with Bert Blyleven, he had one of the greatest curveballs going. But everybody used to go up there and look for it and go like, but he used to throw more fastballs than the curveball.
Yeah, he
so
did.
Don't be stupid. You don't hit a pitch. Don't look for a pitch you can't hit. You better hit the fastball. If you don't, then you're going to strike out on his curveball. It's really simple.
And nobody hits a good breaking ball. They hit the bad breaking ball.
Right.
The one
You
that
hit
hangs.
a hanger.
Yeah. So if you look for it, you know, unless it hangs, you're not going to hit it.
Right. So but don't let that fastball pass.
Right.
0-1 count for Yuli Gurriel, who flied to center in the 2nd inning. 1-0 Cleveland. Fouled out of play. So, Chris, this idea of, and I don't remember, but when Greg Maddux was in Atlanta, he had one guy that seemed like he caught all of his starts.
Oh, it was Perez.
Yeah.
It was Perez.
We had him here,
yes.
Eddie Perez.
Eddie Perez, correct.
So that's been around for a long time, where a catcher and a pitcher just hit it off, and for whatever reason, hey, you're going to catch him every time he pitches.
Right. You're right. I think, you know, there's less shaking. You keep the game moving. You want your pitcher to have good rhythm and good tempo. I mean, you saw in a World Series game how many trips the catcher makes to the mound. It just slows the game down. Your defense is on its heels, and you want guys that are clicking on the same page, and let's go. Good rhythm, good tempo. Your defense plays better. The pitcher's, you know, more aggressive in the zone.
And that's what Gomes has done here with Corey Kluber. Not to say that Perez, the backup catcher, can't catch him, because he did in the playoffs in 16 when Gomes was hurt. But it's that rapport, man, like you say. The rhythm keeps going, the tempo keeps going. But nowadays, when you have an extra catcher, he's going to catch one of your pitchers on the staff, so that gives him playing time, and he gets at bats.
1st and 3rd, 2 down, 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul, he just got a piece of it.
This is a tough out, man. Gurriel, he loves to hit against right-handed pitching.
Visiting with Chris Bando, former Indians catcher, and perhaps on the verge of a small piece of Indians history. Corey Kluber, 1 strike away from moving into 3rd place on the Indians' all-time strikeout list. He's currently in a 3-way tie right now with Bob Lemon and Early Wynn.
Get it right here on the slider.
In the dirty wooden chase, 2-2. It's just pretty cool that here we are. I mean, Bob Lemon.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. And he's done it in a short period of time. But when you strike out 240 to 260 guys a year, it doesn't take you time to get to 12, a long time to get to 1,200.
Now the 2-2. And he chops it foul.
And how about nowadays, how they anytime a ball short hops in the dirt, you throw it out, give me a new one. Did they ever do that when we played?
They never did that.
We weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah, I'd pick a ball in the dirt, block it, and throw it back.
Sure.
You know,
we used to hit the eraser balls. They were darker than the pitches that we'd ever see. Taking batting practice. Cy Binack would run them in the eraser machine out at High Corbett Field in Tucson, Arizona.
Drive you crazy listening to that every morning.
Wow,
in spring
trying to hit
training.
one to the warning track, let alone hit one out for batting practice.
2-2. Popped up foul. This is going to go out of play to the right. What would it have taken back then for an umpire to say, all right, let's get rid of that?
The pitcher wouldn't let him. I want it back.
Unless the batter asked to see the baseball, the umpire never did. You just threw it back to the pitcher.
Yep.
But, you know, and so unless the batter said, hey, check that ball, you just kept the ball in play.
So unless Gaylord Perry was pitching, nobody was checking.
Yeah.
They check it all the time. It just didn't slip out of his hand when he came to throw it.
First and third, 2 down. 2-2 pitch. In the air, right field. Greg Allen drifting back and makes the catch. Kluber works out of the jam. Chris, great to talk to you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me on.
Chris Bando, former Indians catcher, stopping by here. What a game we have tonight. 1-0 Cleveland, middle of the fourth. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern on FS1. And then some of the biggest stars in baseball will be right here at Progressive Field when the Indians and Astros meet at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Bottom of the fourth inning, Melky Cabrera, who doubled to right center field his first time up. Hits are even at 4 apiece. But the Indians had back-to-back 2-out doubles in the third to plate the game's only run. Smoked foul left side. Rick, even with the years of experience that Melky Cabrera has under his belt, you know, he was a late sign in April.
Yeah.
Went down to extended spring, get himself, you know, some workouts in, you know, some batting practice, whatnot. Then he gets into some games, the AAA level. But still, what do you suppose for a guy signing that late? How many at bats do you think it takes before he starts to feel like, okay?
Take 100. I'm thinking 100. And he had maybe what, 40 down in the minor leagues, and I don't know if you can consider those 40 up here. But I'm thinking 100 to get guys going. Even guys that went to spring training and they start the year out, they may play well, or just get off to a start and they get hurt, it's like starting all over again.
Yeah.
So, you know, you give him 100 at bats, and I'll tell you what, he hit the ball twice tonight, right on the nose. He's going to be just fine, and he should sit in the middle part for protection. Tito likes a switch hitter to break out the left-handers, which we have a lot of. He's going to be just fine. And he knows the Central Division. He's played in it with Kansas City, with everybody here. So
the 0-1.
You know what? And you say 100. That's just tossing a number out. You'd have to ask him. You know. But I absolutely think he'll be fine.
The 1-1 pitch.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. What's going to happen when guys start coming off the disabled list? That's what's going to that piques my curiosity. When Zimmer gets ready and Naquin gets ready and Chisenhall gets ready, what are they going to do?
They won't call us.
No. They'll call Andre.
I'll wait to hear.
I'll give you the answer you've always given me.
See that?
It always works itself out.
Yes,
you know it.
It does.
I know it.
It does.
Always works its way.
See that? Now I want the voice of reason.
I've been listening to you. You and Matt have told me for years. It always works itself out.
And you know what? It will again this time too.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Gomes, and there are 2 down. Andre, I can honestly say that in all the years I've been doing this with the Indians, the situation we had just a few weeks ago where it literally came down to we have to pick between Eric Gonzalez and Gio Urshela is a very rare occurrence. It just always seems to, well, either somebody got hurt or there was a trade made. Very rarely do you ever come down to, all right, we have to pick one or the other.
No, that's a great example. And I got to tell you, we've all been paying attention to what Gio has been doing in Toronto. Even Eric himself, because he started at shortstop a couple games. He's played other places. I think that was an odd one for everyone involved, Matt. I really do. Because I think Gio, because of some friendships and things that he's done with the big league club, people felt like he was a part of the team already. And the way he played in spring training, you guys know this. I think we all thought he was going to be a part of this 25-man roster.
Yeah.
Now, in saying that, Eric thought he was going to be here the whole time as well. And
sometimes you have to make tough decisions. It's part of that's the nature of the business itself.
And I don't want to put words in Eric's mouth, but Eric wants to play, and he understands he understands the situation here. But he wants to play because he thinks he can be a big league, everyday player. So I think the situation for both of those guys was tough because of that part of it.
Jason Kipnis rips a base hit in the right field. And the Indians have another 2-out hit. That's 3 2-out hits in the last 2 innings.
Andre, you keep telling Gonzalez to keep hitting, and he'll be fine. He'll earn himself some more playing time.
But you know what? That's what Edwin tells him. That's what all the older guys, I know Michael Brantley talks to him.
Sure.
They just keep telling him, every time you get a chance, keep showing who you are.
Right.
And you're going to make your way into the lineup one way. I told you guys that about Brantley when we were in Milwaukee a couple weeks ago. He said, well, you know, if I never got traded here, I would have played a year earlier than I ended up playing when I got to Cleveland. He goes, but then once I got my chance, I took advantage of it, and I never went back to the minors.
Right.
Rajay Davis bats with 2 down and a runner at first and looks at a pitch down low, ball 1. Oh, that hurt. Found that ball right off of his foot. Two balls and a strike for Rajay Davis. And a ground ball to third. Should end the inning, and it will. 4 complete from Progressive Field. It's the Indians 1 and the Astros nothing. The 2018 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. Back here at Progressive Field, Dynamite Burgers, one of the many locally sourced vendors that you will find here at Progressive Field. Tremendous local presence in the outfield district, down in right field, the district area down by the corner, and also the infield district features a number of great restaurants, the Butcher and the Brewer. How about the Throw and Smoke Barbecue?
That was a big hit with the cup of Jensen and Al like that.
The Heater, it's a sandwich pork, barbecue pork. It's got flaming Cheetos on it. That'll treat you right. But it definitely gives the ballpark a unique and very Cleveland-centric vibe when you come down here and you're cruising along the concourse, and you've got the local vendors that you've probably seen when you're out and about. You've got Matt Fish from Melt, who dropped some awesome grilled cheese sandwiches.
Nice sandwiches here.
He's got a place out here, so I mean, it truly is something for everybody.
There's the Butcher and the Brewer right there.
Barrio. Blowing away to Max Stassi here in the 5th inning. Struck out his only time up in the 3rd. He's got a hit in 6 of his last 7 games, but Corey Kluber struck him out in the 3rd inning. And the count now 2-1. And Corey goes to work on that outside corner. And it's 2-2.
76 pitches for Kluber, 51 of them strikes.
The 2-2. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. And now Corey Kluber all alone in 3rd place on the Cleveland Indians all-time strikeout list.
Congratulations to Corey Kluber, and it comes on his pitch du jour right there, that breaking ball, the curve ball. Passes the great Bob Lemon. Look at that. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Black and white, and there's the man in color. Nowadays, And he is not done yet.
1,278 strikeouts for the Kluber. Tony Kemp with a bunt. He gets it by the mound. And that's all he had to do.
Tell you what, you rarely see that anymore, even though there's 2 outs and nobody on. His job is to get on base, and he can steal second base. And now it'll be interesting with Springer up if he's going to maybe let him take a chance to steal a base. But that's the old time drag bunt. You know what? You get it past the pitcher, you force the second baseman to field it, and the next time Kipnis is going to have to play shallower because Encarnacion didn't move off first base. And not to say he could have gotten it, but if you get it past the pitcher and make the second baseman field it, and you can run like Kemp can, you're going to get a base hit 10 out of 10 times. He should be running early, and that's why they're going to pay attention to him. The last at bat, I figured, you know, he had an opportunity to get on second base or first base with 2 outs. They were going to let Springer swing the bat because he had his hit this time. I would take a chance with this kid and let him try and steal a base here. It's tough to put hits together against Kluber.
Fouled back. It's 0-1.
And also, you figure against a guy like Springer, he's going to see his best pitch, that slider, when he gets an opportunity, and that would be the pitch to pick if you can to run on it.
Up high, 1-1. There has not been a stolen base attempt against Corey Kluber this year. Big reason for that is A, it's hard to get to first base against Kluber, and B, if you're behind, you don't want to take a chance on getting thrown out. Figure he doesn't give up that many runs, so a lot of times if you're on first base, you're on the short end of the scoreboard.
Well, Corey's given up 11 home runs this year, and a lot of times that's how you score off Kluber. You got to hit a home run, and maybe that's what they bank on. They're saying, hey, you got a chance to hit a 2-run homer. Let's not make it out on the bases. Let's see if someone can, he makes a mistake and somebody can hit one. But that's a gamble in its own right.
Fastball evens the count, 2-2. High fly ball, center field. Rajay Davis drifting back, makes the catch. No runs, a hit, a man left, and a big mark for Corey Kluber in the Indians record book.
take on the Chicago White Sox at 4 o'clock, and the 15,000 fans are going to receive a Corey Kluber Cy Young bobblehead. That'll be courtesy of Key Bank. Just visit Indians.com for the tickets.
Greg Allen leading off for the Indians here in the home half of the 5th. Checked, it was inside, did not go. And the 2-1 kind of caught in between, and it just did catch the outside corner. Big bouncer to short. Correa. 1 down. In-game recap brought to you by your Toyota dealers. With 2 outs in the 3rd, back-to-back doubles, one by Michael Brantley, this one by Jose Ramirez, brought home Dr. Smooth with the game's only run, and Corey Kluber has made it stand up to this point.
Keuchel has been very good from the start. They had their opportunity in the 2nd inning, Matt, 2nd and 3rd, and nobody out, and they weren't able to get anybody across. Or it might be a little bit better than what it is, but this is another 1-run ball game.
Down and in. Francisco Lindor 0 for 2. He was the victim of some tremendous defense in his first at bat. 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored last night. But if you remember back to the series in Houston, the Astros pitchers made a concerted effort to not allow Lindor to beat him.
Yeah,
they pitched it tough.
And why not? That guy, the month of May that he has had, he's been unbelievable.
Taken all the way 3-0. It's in for a strike. Rounds it to 3rd. Another big hop for Bregman, and there are 2 gone. Great clip of the game from last night. The only runs for the Indians came off the bat of Michael Brantley early. It was a 2-run single. Gave the Tribe a 2-0 lead, but that was all they could muster. Brantley's double in the 3rd inning extended his hitting streak to 14 games now. The Astros, who are, I think you could classify them as a pretty shift-centric organization. And even for Brantley, a team that many teams will not put a shift on, they've got him shaded unusually with the 3rd baseman way off the line.
Well, that's where Brantley burned him last at bat, is because Keuchel didn't locate his pitch. He threw him, he elevated a pitch up. He was able to turn on it, and Springer's over in right center field. That's why he had to slide to get that ball to try and make a play at 2nd, because he's not straight up.
Right back to Keuchel. The Indians go in order, And we go to the 6th. Cleveland 1, Houston nothing. Bob Lemon, early win. The man that Corey Kluber just passed in the Indians' all-time strikeout list. Both veterans, in addition to being tremendous pitchers.
Both Hall of Famers, both great baseball players.
I know you've told me now that in your day it was forbidden, if not very looked down upon, to fraternize. So with that in mind, did you ever get a chance to visit with Bob Lemon or early win when they were on the other side in any instance?
No, not really, because you know, Bob was a manager in a couple different places. So
nice play at third by Ramirez. Whoa, but Encarnacion picks it clean.
Tell you what, Alonso saved Jose last night on a ball thrown in the dirt, and Encarnacion does it again tonight. But it's picked, no big deal. It's an out, nicely done. No, not really. You know, because you don't do it. When you were young players, you just didn't talk to the other team, especially the opposing team's manager.
Yeah.
You didn't even talk to your own. You know, the unfortunate thing is that now you wish it was like that back then, to where you could share a moment or two, because a lot of the guys knew the history of the game when they played.
Sure.
You know, you followed them, and the only way you would hear it is through stories, because, or the back of their baseball cards, or you read the paper, or you were a true fan and you followed the game. I mean, so, you know, you heard the stories, and the good ones and the bad ones. Nowadays, everybody knows everything about everybody.
Oh, what a play by Lindor that throws in time. Oh, he just committed larceny on Jose Altuve.
You will not see a better play than that right there, folks. And I mean, Altuve wants to take another look at it too. Lindor got that ball on the top of his webbing and was just barely had to get up and throw it, because he knew who was running. He put everything he had on it and gets him by a half a step. That's an unbelievable play.
Great concentration.
Look at the real speed on that hop. That ball took off. The quick hands, the gun. That's just awesome. Kluber's clapping.
Now with two down, Carlos Correa.
Nice pitch. I know it ricocheted and got Gomes, but he went inside on him first. Bad pitch for Gomes, but a very good pitch for Kluber. And there's the umpire asking, is he all right, or does he need more time? And he said, all right, let's go.
Now it's 0-2 on Carlos Correa. Out of play.
Here it is on StatCast. Let's see. I want to see 132. Oh, the arm strength you're seeing there in the throw distance. I wondered what that ball went off the bat at, because he had very little reaction time, but he certainly made it work.
And the 0-2. Low and away. Now the 1-2 offering. And everybody was headed off the field.
Well, yeah, all the infielders were moving, that's for sure. That was funny. That was that comeback fastball. That's what he got him on the last time, and it's close. Let's just put it that way. The infielders were moving. They thought it was going to get called, but it did not.
In the air, right field. Greg Allen is there and makes the catch to retire the side in order here in the 6th. Some platinum glove D by Frankie Lindor, and it's still 1-0 Cleveland.
Next 10 years. That'd be kind of cool.
So there's your matchup. Sunday afternoon, we'll have it for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. Trevor Bauer against Garrett Cole. Jose Ramirez has driven in the game's only run. It came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Keuchel has matched Kluber pitch for pitch today. But you're right, those back-to-back hits with 2 outs, the difference in the ball game. And it looks like the slower the better this at bat by Keuchel.
Did he go? He did, says first base umpire Lance Barrett, and Jose Ramirez not happy. 4th strikeout for Dallas Keuchel.
Take a peek from the side. No, he did not. He has something to be upset about. He said no, no, no. The ump said yes, yes, yes. Hey, he's upset. That bothers him there.
Well, let's see if the Parrots get to go for a ride here. Edwin Encarnacion. He takes a strike. Edwin singled to deep right field in the second inning. And then he hit the ball right on the nose in the third, but lined out to left field. His second inning single snapped an 0 for 13. Keuchel has been very efficient here tonight. It's only his 80th pitch of the game. But the Indians have only had 5 base runners. 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. Payoff pitch from Keuchel.
Well, he just never gives in. He stays out of the middle of the plate. He cuts it going inside. He'll sink it going away. He'll elevate it. That boy gives it to his little brother. Nicely done.
And a foul back by Edwin.
Doesn't look like he wants to give Eddie any swinging room in this at bat. There's the smile.
Yes, sir.
How about that? Ear to ear. He's happy. Yes, indeed.
The 3-2. And Edwin lines the ball into left field. Cut off by Gonzalez. And so he's barreled up 3 here tonight.
Yeah. Very nice at bat there. Give him something to swing at.
Time now for a game break without Pulaski, who's happy to report there are indeed gluten-free options here at Progressive Field.
Absolutely, man. Just behind home plate. Check him out. And hey, at Fenway Park tonight, check out J.D. Martinez. His 16th home run of the year ties him with teammate Mookie Betts for the most homers in baseball. Atlanta was up 2-0. Now it's 2-2, bottom of the 5th inning in Boston. I'm headed down to get some of that gluten-free bacon, guys, which was exceptional.
You loved it.
I did.
It's got your name all over it.
Sure
Al.
does. Here I go.
Bacon on a stick. That's one of the newest delicacies here at
this year.
Field. And Al's favorite, apparently.
Now on day games, he'll be here at 10 o'clock trying to get it. Bacon and eggs. Egg on a stick. Bacon.
Melky Cabrera cuts and misses. That's another divisional leader matchup between Boston and Atlanta. Who would have thought at the start of the year that here we are approaching Memorial Day and the Atlanta Braves with a slim half-game lead over Philly in the NL East.
Big surprise team.
And Philadelphia too, for that matter, to be only a half-game
right.
back.
Phillies have played very well. Yeah, that might be the top 2 surprises, really.
Mickey Callaway's Mets have stabilized things. They're 25-21. They're 3 back, along with the Washington Nationals, who are 26-22. The 1-2, grounded between third and short, and off the glove of Bregman into left field for a base hit. So the Indians have back-to-back singles here in the 6th inning. Melky Cabrera with 2 and Encarnacion also with 2.
Well, this ball had top spin and it just goes off the end of Bregman's glove and it ricochets past Correa. So that's what you call, boy, just perfect timing. Right there, that top spin gets off the end of the glove. Goes at back-to-back singles. Those two are 2 for 3 apiece. Each have 2 hits, but another opportunity now. Yan Gomes hasn't had much luck tonight in the batter's box.
And now Yan Gomes, who has struck out twice. Hector Rondon ditching the warm-up top. He may be getting loose here soon. Even though, as I mentioned, Keuchel has been very efficient. He's only had 88 pitches.
Gomes has seen 8 pitches tonight. 7 have been strikes.
Now I ask you this. Is that Keuchel or is that because Gomes has been too aggressive maybe?
Part of both. Yes, Keuchel has thrown some strikes, but Gomes has expanded his strike zone, especially back in the 2nd inning when he had the opportunity with 2 men on. There's 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. He went down on what, 3 pitches?
3 pitches, yeah.
Well, he's got a chance to redeem himself now. And in that first at bat, he tried to shoot him the other way. Keuchel saw that, but he ended up expanding that strike zone outside the plate.
Swing and a miss for strike 1. In off the plate to even the count up.
That might be to keep him honest. And so he can throw that changeup down and away and maybe trying for a double play ball. And there you go at 90 pitches. Throwing 58 strikes. He's pounded the strike zone. Hasn't walked anybody. It's going to make you hit your way on.
Yan Gomes smacks it into left field. And the bases are loaded with 1 out. So that's a good at bat for Yan Gomes, and one that has to make him feel a little bit better about things now.
Well, he wanted to run that inside and he didn't quite get it in there, but give Yan credit of pulling the hands in on this swing. And there you go. Stayed nice through the ball, hit a line drive. Everybody can move up 1. 3 straight singles. Indians now with 8 hits, and Kipnis again with an opportunity to add on to a 1-0 lead. There's your base runners.
Kipnis struck out on the 2nd. He singled in the 4th. He's collected a hit now in 7 of his last 9 games. And a nice stop at home plate by Stasi.
This is the opportunity they're looking to break through right here.
Jason Kipnis with a ground ball at first. Gurriel goes to 2nd. They get 1. That's all they get. The Indians tack on a run. It's 2-0. Kipnis will get his 18th run batted in on the year. Put the ball in play. Sometimes good things happen. And that's what the Indians failed to do in the 2nd inning. Well, here in the 6th, they get another run.
Well, and they'll take it.
Comes Rajay Davis, who is 0 for 2 on the night. But I'll say this for Raj. Maybe because there's been more playing time with all of the injuries to the outfielders, but in his last 14 games, he's hit .295 and he's scored 10 runs.
Yeah, you get an idea of the plate coverage that you have to use when you're getting much more playing time.
know, we talked in Houston about how Tito's using Raj right now and trying to.
Runner at first will go to second. Kipnis.
I like that.
On the wild pitch.
Go ahead, Andre.
Just in how Tito is trying his best to pace Raj. He told me the other day he's trying to use him like he used Austin Jackson. Doesn't want to play him every single day because he knows at his age that he doesn't want to wear him out. And talking to Raj about it, he laughed. And he says, well, I'm here to play 162. But he appreciates what Tito is doing with him and how he's using him. He said, you need a manager like that to understand who he is. He goes, that's why he wanted to be here. And that's why he feels like he's swinging the bat a little bit better right now because, as you said, he's playing more. But he understands what Tito is trying to do with him. He's trying to get him through a whole season because he wants the same Raj that he has now in September, October.
Well, in a perfect world, Tito would, you know, he might play twice a week, he might play once a week. But with the injuries to the outfielders, he's forced to play him more than he probably would like to.
And the thing is, Tito likes having him, in his words, he likes having him on the bench as a weapon late in games.
I mean, we've seen it a couple times, Andre. Late in the game, you need a stolen base. You're down a run. Let's put action, instant offense in there.
And Tito said last week there were a couple times he wanted to start him, but he thought about it and he started maybe a different outfielder so he could have Raj, because he said there's been close games, and if this is the 8th or 9th inning and we need a run, I want to be able to go to my bench and bring him in.
With the rookie on deck.
3-0.
Rajay Davis turned it loose on the 3-0 pitch.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, you earn it. You figure he's going to have to throw you a strike, although knowing Keuchel, first base is still open. You got Allen on deck. Always keep that in the back of your mind. It's not the end of the world if he walks you.
And that's exactly what happened.
There you go. He was going to make him swing at a bad pitch, or his pitch. First walk of the game for Dallas Keuchel. And this could very well be his last hitter.
Right-hander Will Harris is up in the Astros bullpen. And Greg Allen with a chance to really open it up for the Indians.
Yeah, they've been able to string 3 straight hits after he struck out Ramirez. And the walk, but they only have 1 more on the board. So if he can minimize that, that'll be a big boost for Keuchel and the Astros. But a base hit here could do a lot of damage.
And Greg Allen chases one out of the zone. Again, there's that overly aggressive approach, where you kind of play into Keuchel's hand. That's what he wants you to do as a hitter. And now it's 0-2.
Now he may not see a strike for a while. But can he lay off of him if he's on that edge or off?
Just outside, and not by much, but a good take by Greg Allen.
That's what pitching's all about right there. You tease hitters, and you know they may lay off 1, but can they lay off 3 more? You know, and this guy's a master at it. This is what pitching's all about, messing with the rhythm of a hitter. Outside, inside, cuts it. Okay, so now the count's back at 2-2. Brent Strom talking with manager A.J. Hinch, and a couple of important pitches now.
Struck him out. And the inning is over. The Indians leave them loaded, but they tack on a run. We've played 6. It's Cleveland 2, Houston nothing. Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Two 2-0 Cleveland. 7th inning. You know how long it takes to eat a mushroom melt from Melt?
I'm going to say an inning and a half.
7 innings.
Well, especially if you have to talk. Now, if you're sitting behind us.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6. We're just in the 7th now, so 6 innings. We're complete.
Okay. Yeah, but you were too busy. You had guests. You had everybody in here. It didn't take it didn't take our back row 6 innings, did it?
So if you count, let's see, that's how long are our breaks? 2 minutes?
Yes.
So 2 minutes times, what is that, 12?
Yeah.
24 minutes.
You didn't even have a beer with it.
Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 7 for Corey Kluber.
Well, for Corey, now number 3 all-time on the Indians list. You see the steady diet of fastball, slider, cutter, and he has worked it. He had there's the comeback fastball. 10 strikeouts against him last week, and he has 7 against them right now here in the 7th inning. He's had 11 0-2, 1-2 counts. But so far to this point, the Astros have yet to get into the run column. They left 4 stranded.
Yanked foul. Grounded towards third. Backhanded by Ramirez. Dropped the ball. It'll probably be ruled an error.
Yeah, that's an error. He had the chance to backhand it, and once he didn't field it cleanly, it looked like he was getting his feet set, and he came up just a little too quickly on it. So that'll go down as an error. First error of the night by either team, and for Ramirez, only his 2nd.
And up comes Evan Gattis, 1 for 2 with a double. If you missed it earlier, Corey Kluber struck out Max Stassi in the 5th inning, giving him 1,278 strikeouts, taking over sole possession of 3rd place on the Indians' all-time strikeout list. He has struck out 1 hitter since, so at 1,279 career punchouts, he now needs 881 to pass Sam McDowell to move into 2nd place all time. Foul out of play.
See if Corey can get his teammate over there at third, a ground ball, and they can turn a double play. He is once again on mark. Always 65 to 70% strikes with Corey Kluber. Today 69% out of the first 100 pitches.
And the 0-2. Ground ball in the hole, and he got his ground ball, but give Evan Gattis credit. He found the hole on the right side, and now the Astros are in business with 2 on and 1 out.
Well, this isn't where Corey wanted this pitch. It sort of leaks back over to the middle of the plate, and he was trying to stay on that breaking ball, and it comes in, and he just fought it off. takes it the other way, finds the hole between first and second. So after the error, they get a base hit, and now applying a little pressure here to the Indians with just one out, first and second. And for now tonight, that's right, that's the second 0-2 base hit he has allowed. Springer in the first inning to lead the game off in the first, took him to right field, and now Gaddis hits the 0-2 pitch to right.
Ground ball in the hole again, and they'll stop the runner at third. They're loaded. Encarnacion made a dive for it, couldn't get to it. And Houston has loaded him up with one out.
Well, there's another good approach here. Bottom part of the lineup, a little cutter. And looks like Tito's going to go get him. That gets under the glove of Encarnacion.
That's also going to be the end of the night for Tony Kemp. He'll be called back for a pinch hitter most likely, as Corey Kluber will leave here in the 7th inning with the bases loaded and one out. And the Indians in front 2-0. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made.
Monday, Memorial Day, you can grab a $15 district ticket presented by Pastime, Ohio, and enjoy an afternoon at the ballpark. For Wednesdays, it's a 1:10 start, and the Indians will head out on the road. Just go to Indians.com for the tickets.
Andrew Miller coming into a tough spot here. Bases loaded, one out. Miller making his 17th appearance. Last time out, he was very good in Chicago. And he'll be facing a pinch hitter as J.D. Davis, a rookie who was just called back from AAA on Sunday. His second stint in the majors this year. His first opening day roster. He made the team out of spring training.
0 for 1 as a pinch hitter.
Tell you one thing, this guy has probably doesn't lack any confidence. He in the minor leagues this year has batted .415. Now, I know it's AAA, but still, from a confidence standpoint, just the way he feels, maybe not your average rookie as he steps to the plate here.
I don't care, .415, no matter where you're hitting, is a good average. AAA, that's you're thinking, what do I have to do to get up there? Well, you might be in the wrong organization.
Popped up foul. Is it playable? No. Edwin gives it a look, but it's beyond the dugout. Davis was a 3rd-round pick 4 years ago by the Astros. That's at Cal State Fullerton after graduating high school. He went to Elk Grove High School in California. Made his major league debut last year, but only 24 games played. Line to Lindor on one hop. He gets one there at second. On to first. Inning-ending double play. So the Astros load him up. They cannot convert. Andrew Miller comes on, and Lindor with another sparkling defensive play gets the Indians out of trouble. Tricky in between hop, isn't it?
Boy, oh boy, that ball was hit right on the nose. It was a very tough hop. He let the ball come to him, but once he caught it cleanly, able to turn that double play, and that was well done, man. I don't care how hard you hit it. It was an atom ball. They turn the double play. They get out of the inning. No run scored. Kluber, 6 1/3 of shutout innings, and there's Lindor as always, meeting everybody at the top step.
New pitcher for the Houston Astros. His right-hander Will Harris on for the 21st time this year. Top of the order for Cleveland: Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez.
I tell you, Dallas Keuchel pitched a nice ball game tonight. Going 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, walked 1, struck out 5. Had a wild pitch.
Lindor takes, it's inside, ball 1. J.D. Davis stays in the game. He goes in left, and Marwin Gonzalez moves from left over to center. If the Indians do not score the rest of the way here, this would be the 5th consecutive game that the Astros have allowed 2 runs or less.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, the pitching has been unbelievable for them. When you see the amount of runs they've given up and the amount of games they have had and the run differential.
The Astros have won their previous 4 games. Usually you give up 2 runs or less. You do.
Well, you don't want to get into a slugfest with them because you're going to figure you're going to have to score 8 to 10. If you're going to beat them, their pitching is not going to give up that many, so you better shut them down offensively.
On the year, when they have allowed 3 runs or less, they're 31-6. It's happened 37 times.
And they still win 31 of them. It's crazy.
What did I do? Play 51 games?
3 runs or less. It's been that many, huh?
Lindor strikes out, 1 down here in the 7th.
Let's look at the Indians. 3 runs or fewer. They're 6 and 13.
No, I'm saying when they've allowed, when Houston has allowed 3 runs or less.
Oh, I got you.
As a pitching staff, they've allowed. That's 37 out of 51 games. They've only given up 3 runs or less. Wow. You're going to win a lot of games, you do.
Absolutely. You don't have to score a lot.
Michael Brantley 1 for 3. He doubled in the 3rd. And then came around to score the first run. Brantley with a base hit. His second of the night. And one of the league's top hitters continues his tear. A 14-game hitting streak, second best hitter in the American League. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. Chris Davis of the Oakland A's down. And Raisel Iglesias, he's the closer, isn't he, for Cincinnati?
Yes, he certainly is.
It's the last thing Cincinnati needs. It's already been a long year for the Reds. Though I will say this, they've played a lot better of late. Well, they changed managers. Jim Riggleman took over for Brian Price. They went out on the West Coast, had a great West Coast trip against the, who was it, the Giants?
Dodgers. They swept the Dodgers.
Yeah. But still at 18 and 33 going into tonight. Long way to go.
Did you see where Tampa is going to use 3 bullpen guys to start this weekend series against Baltimore? What do you think?
3 games?
All 3 games. What do you think of that?
Yeah. That sounds like the last gasp effort. Fly ball hit well to left, but not deep enough, as Davis has plenty of room to make the catch. 2 down. I mean, just from a competitive balance standpoint, that just doesn't sound
well,
right.
And then, you may bring a starter in about the 2nd inning. Let the bullpen guy go an inning and a 3rd. It's
strange.
Crazy.
Well, Kevin Cash knows his club. We have great respect for him, so he's doing whatever he can. But that sounds like he's managing with one arm behind his back almost.
I'm sure he is.
A.J. Hinch going to make a pitching change. Our old pal Joe Smith is coming on when we come back.
KeyBank Kids Fun Day. After the game, all the kids get to run the bases. It's presented by Cleveland Clinic's Children's. Just go to Indians.com for your tickets. Be the last game against the Astros this Sunday, beginning at 1:10. Come on out to the ballpark. Beautiful warm weekend.
Joe Smith on for the 18th time this year. He's had a rough go. 1 up, 1 down, ERA over 7. Edwin Encarnacion 2 for 3, couple of singles and a run scored. Tell you what, if the weather has kept you from coming down to the ballpark up to this point this year, understandable. But this would be a great time if you haven't been able to get down to a game to come see this ball club play either throughout this weekend.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, Monday's Memorial Day. We've got the White Sox coming in for a 3-game series. Come on down here and enjoy some nice weather, some warm weather.
Yeah, baseball weather.
Oh, what a jump by Brantley. Here's the throw, not even worth a throw, but
that's good. I like that. Stay aggressive.
Brantley's second steal of the year. He's in the scoring position with 2 down now. He stole that off Joe Smith.
Of course. I mean, most stolen bases are off the pitcher. You know, he taps his foot. He's got that little angle he wants to get used to, but Michael read it beautifully. No problems there. Now base hit, he can score.
Slows it down, it's outside.
See, that's the thing when you throw Encarnacion, even though you're Joe Smith and you're throwing it from the side, you don't want to hang a slider. You know what I mean? So you're going to want to make sure you get that ball away if you miss, just like he did.
Threw that one by him though. Almost like he kind of lulls you to sleep and then zips one by you when you're not least expecting it. Got him looking. Edwin doesn't like the call, but the inning is over. And we go to the 8th. 2-0 Cleveland. Disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. You're just a
There's Nibbles eating the peanut.
Yonder Alonso comes into the game defensively at first base for Edwin Encarnacion. Andrew Miller got the double play ball to get out of the 7th. Goes back out for the 8th and misses outside ball 1 to George Springer.
Miller came out for one batter. They used a pinch hitter, J.D. Davis, and he got the ground ball double play to get out of it.
This is the same situation the Indians had in Chicago the other night. Tito went right from the starter to Andrew Miller, and now Cody Allen is up in the bullpen. Fortunately, Miller got the double play ball, so he didn't have to expend much energy and throw a lot of pitches in the 7th. It makes it a little easier decision-wise to bring him back out here in the 8th. This is not something Tito knows he can do long-term. Ball's rocketed up the alley in left center. That's going to send George Springer to second base with a leadoff double.
Leadoff double. Let's take a look at that slider. He didn't get it inside where Gomes was sitting. He left it out a little bit, and George Springer took advantage of it and found the gap in left center field. That'll be his 12th double. Leadoff man aboard. Now that brings a tying run to the plate with every hitter coming up.
Alex Bregman, 1 for 3 on the night. Now the 1-0 up and away, 2 balls, no strikes. And Miller kind of slaps at that ball as he receives a throw back from Gomes. Indians fans have come to know this feeling all too well. It has been a roller coaster in late innings, whereas in previous years it was almost a slam dunk.
Yeah, and it was. You're right, and that's how they felt, but it's not that easy.
And he walked him. So 2 on, nobody out. And they go ahead, run to the plate the rest of the inning now for Houston. Now this is interesting. So far in this series, Jose Altuve. I remember I said how the Houston pitchers had attacked Francisco Lindor.
Right.
Going back to the series in Houston. Well, so far in the first 2 games, Altuve's been to bat 8 times. He's seen 31 pitches, 25 strikes. So they have been in attack mode, and he has been maybe in aggressive swing mode, which doesn't really seem to be unusual for him.
Right. Yeah, he's an aggressive hitter. If he thinks he can get the barrel to it, he's going to swing.
Line fair down the left field line. Around third. Springer will score. Bregman around third. He will score, and it's tied at 2.
Well, there you go. The one pitch when you needed the most. He was ready. He was in swing mode, and he wasted no time. He lined the ball down the left field corner. Scores both runners on the double. So now he just trades places. We have a new ball game. Kluber gets a no decision, and out comes Terry Francona. Is that really coming in? They wouldn't have had it. I mean, Lindor was rushing to get it, but Bregman would have been safe anyway. So 3 hitters in the inning, all reach, and Miller's night is over.
And now you got to bring your closer into a tie game in the 8th inning. with the guys, and you could be on the Indians telecast this weekend. Right now, help would be a big sign. The Indians need some help in that bullpen. It has been a problem, and it continues to be one. Andrew Miller got the double play ball to get out of the 7th, but he comes back here in the 8th and allows 2 runs as the Astros tie the game. And now Cody Allen, who was the only guy up because you were looking at a 2-0 advantage, thinking about a way to close the game out. Now he's forced to come in. It's a tie game, trying to keep it that way. And Carlos Correa, the batter, 0 for 3 on the night. And a good pitch for a fastball. It's a call the ball. It was like it was in the box. Big chopper up the gut. Lindor cuts it off and throws out Correa, 1 down, but now the go-ahead run is at third, and the infield will have to come in. Well, it's halftime of the Cavaliers game as the Cavs trail the Celtics at the break.
Corey Kluber, 7 punch-outs on the night, ended up moving into 3rd place on the all-time strikeout list for Cleveland Indians. Another dominating performance, 6 1/3. Gave up 7 hits, had 7 strikeouts.
Cavaliers are up at the break, 54-43. So the infield is in, and Marwin Gonzalez, the batter, he squares, he bunts. The flip to home, and it's not in time. And the Astros take the lead. Altuve scores.
That is how you execute a squeeze play right there. You get it on, you've got the guy, and no one thinks it's going to happen. Everybody, look where Ramirez is at. He squares around. He doesn't give it away. Cody throws a curveball. It was a good pitch to bunt. He just got it in play, and Altuve, look at that. He ran. He didn't go too early. That's really well executed right there by the Astros, and they will take a 3-2 lead now on a squeeze play.
Safety squeeze to perfection.
Well, I don't know if it was a safety because he was off and running. He just didn't want to give it away. He took 2 quick steps.
Sure looked like he was waiting to see if he got it down first. But either way, they take the lead. They scored a fielder's choice and the RBI for Gonzalez. So all 3 runs will be charged to Miller. In the hole, and a base hit.
All right, let's watch Altuve. He takes 2 big hops, and I'll tell you, he got off of there, but he watched that perfect bunt. 1-2, here he comes. He wanted to make sure he got it down, but I'll tell you what, if he missed that ball, he might have been able to throw him out at third base. But you see Ramirez following him up the line. Ramirez followed the base runner up the line, which you're supposed to do out there. But Gonzalez put down a beautiful bunt. I mean, that, tip your cap, that was well done.
Carl Willis, Indians pitching coach, out to talk with Cody Allen. Batter will be Evan Gattis. And still only 1 out on the inning as Dan Otero is getting loose. Low ball 1. Gaddis has had a good night. As the DH, he's doubled to left off Kluber in the 3rd inning, grounded out on the 5th. And then he singled through the hole on the right side of the infield against Kluber his last time up. Now the 1-1. Foul 3rd base side.
Gaddis sees that little crack in the bat. Wants a new one. Boy, this all happened quickly. This inning started out with the Indians up 2-0, and then a double, a walk, a first pitch double. The next thing you know, the game is tied. A ground ball gets Altuve to 3rd, and then the squeeze play. They take the lead, and before you know it,
hit him.
Yep, on the pad.
And now the bases are loaded for the 2nd inning in a row.
And that's where he wears that pad, right on the elbow. That's where it got him. You could hear it all the way up here. Right on the elbow. He had him down, but now he'll go to first base. And Cody's going to have to make some pitches here.
Max Stassi will bat with the bases loaded. He is 1 for 3 on the night.
This is where they were able to pull away yesterday with a big inning. But if you can keep it right here, get 2 outs and not let them score, it's still just a 1-run ball game.
Up and in, ball 1. The 8th man to bat in the inning. Gomes able to find it. 2-0.
Now down in the count, he's going to have to come back. Infield is they're playing in. They're about a step or 2 back off the grass by the time the pitch is being made.
Three balls, no strikes. It's a crowd of over 29,000. A little anxious right now. It's still, as you said, a 1-run game.
Right.
But it could get away from them in a hurry, as the game last night did.
Well, he's going to force him. He got into the strike zone, but as a hitter here, you don't have to swing. You can make him throw 3 in a row, or really be very disciplined and make it look for it right down the middle or take it.
Now the 3-1 to Stassi. Pops it back out of play, full count.
Back into the count comes Allen. This pitch could make or break this ball game right here.
You're not kidding. I mean, the momentum swings late in the game are huge.
They come. It's like it's playoff time. It comes with every pitch.
Yeah.
Every pitch it comes on. And this is the big one right now.
Here's the 3-2. They walked in a run. Marwin Gonzalez, who laid down the bunt. That gave Houston the lead. Comes home to score. It's now 4-2. Cody Allen's night is over, and the third pitcher of the inning will be Dan Otero when we come back.
Andrew left up in the zone. He led off the inning after a walk. Altuve hits the first pitch down the line. They've contained him all in the first two games until that swing. They tie it up there, and then a squeeze play. Out goes Miller. In comes Allen, and a breaking ball and a well executed squeeze play right there by Gonzalez. Another walk with the bases loaded. It's a 4-run inning. Bases are still loaded, and still only one out.
And the ninth man to bat in the inning is J.D. Davis, who came on as a pinch hitter last inning with the bases loaded and one out and hit into a double play. And it seemed like at that point the Indians had all the momentum in their back pocket. Line to short, caught by Lindor, 2 down.
He had a chance to hit into 2, except this time Lindor caught it in the air. And they couldn't turn it, but they get the second out. And nobody ventured off base far enough to where he could make a throw back.
Dan Otero's 16th appearance of the year. Last night the Indians had to use 4 pitchers to get out of an inning. That was the uneventful 6th, in which the Astros clobbered them for 5 runs. Tonight, 3 pitchers to try and get through this 8th inning.
Well, that has been a problem for the Indians. Now the bullpen, and after both Andrew Miller and Cody Allen had a nice day the last game in Chicago, able to get out and win a 1-0 game. Cannot do it here tonight in the bullpen again. It is a real problem now.
And it's low, 2-1. Just missed in there, and 3 balls and a strike, and there's nowhere to put him. And Otero knows it. Unfortunately for him, so does Springer. He's 2 for 4 tonight. 4 for 7 already in the series. And he was trying to put 4 on the board.
Yeah.
Full count.
He was trying to put a snowman on the board with that swing. They already have 4 in it, and another 4 would have been 8. Well, Otero with a chance to get out of it right here. Keep it a 4-2 game.
Line to right. And it's caught by Greg Allen. A spectacular grab to potentially save the day. The Astros score 4. They take the lead, but Allen's catch at least keeps the Indians' hopes alive. The mood is a bit salty now as the Astros score 4 in the 8th to take the lead. Chris Davinsky will come on now to pitch the bottom of the 8th, 4th pitcher of the night for Houston. He's a changeup specialist in his last outing. It was against the Indians almost a week ago. It was Sunday in Cleveland. Came on with the man on, 2 down, struck out Francisco Lindor to end that inning. So we'll see what happens here.
Well, it's time to score some runs. Get the offense going.
Melky Cabrera 2 for 3 on the night. And the out he made was a line drive. It was caught by Correa, the shortstop. So he's starting to zero in. Pops this one up. Shallow center, out goes Correa. 1 down. Let's go back and revisit our storylines, courtesy of your Ford dealers. Cy Young MVP matchup. Corey Kluber kept Altuve on ice, but unfortunately the bullpen could not do the same. And Brantley again has been a factor for the Indians offensively, but only 2 runs allowed, and that's the theme for the Astros. They are trying to make it 5 consecutive games allowing 2 runs or less. And even though they were being shut out by Kluber, the fact that Dallas Keuchel only gave up 2,
right,
never caved in.
Well, any starter's job is they'll be the first to tell you when you come out, hey, my job is to try and keep my team in the ball game, and hopefully we can score when we have to. And so far, Kluber did his job. He shut him out, but they came out and they put a big number on the board. 4 runs in that 8th inning.
Strike called. Davinsky ahead of Yan Gomes 0-2.
They did it in last night's game. It was a 2-0 Indians lead. Next thing you know, a 3-run 5th and a big 5-run 6th. Right now they're playing with a confidence, a swagger that they know you just keep us around. We'll get you the runs when you need it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yan Gomes looks one fouled on the left side. You talked about it last night. I mentioned that the Indians are more of a fast starting team, whereas the Astros, they don't really do a lot offensively early.
Ease into it.
But from the middle innings on, they've been a juggernaut offensively, and you thought a lot of that might have to do with how good their starting pitching has been, that they just kind of sit back and sort of survey the room, and then they wreck the joint later.
Yeah, I don't think they really have a, it's not that they don't want to score, they're not trying to, but they believe their starters are not going to give up many. They'll score. They know they'll score enough to win, and their starters are going out there and they've been lights out all year long, and that's their MO right now. You know, it's not going to happen all the time, but we've seen it happen a lot against us in the short time we're playing them in 7 days out of the last 10.
2 down.
You know how Dallas Keuchel pitched tonight. He made the adjustment because they got him early last time, but he concentrated on keeping that breaking ball down. He changed speeds with it, throwing it away. He cut it inside. He had hitters swinging at pitches out of the zone when he had to. He made that pitch 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 2nd inning. Got out of there. They were able to hit him for 2. You know, that 1 run, 2 hits in a row in the 3rd to get a run. But he just, I mean, he matched Corey pitch for pitch and did a nice job.
Swing and a miss. Well, think about it in this terms. Almost 75% of the time. So just about 3 out of every 4 games the Astros have played, the pitching staff has given them 3 runs or less. And they've won over 80% of those games. That's how you do what they did a year ago and what they're doing so far this year. I mean, you can win a lot of games with that kind of formula where you're.
It's a pretty good recipe for a win. They don't make errors. They're the best defensive club in the league. We've witnessed that. They play very well their shifts, the way they play certain hitters and the way they pitch to them.
That's what the Indians were a year ago.
Absolutely.
They had the best earned run average in the majors. They played great defense. They led the league in defense. And, you know, it's not like they had a bunch of punch and judies up there. They scored more than their fair share of runs, but there wasn't the pressure on them to have to go out and score because pitching staff pretty much shut everybody down, especially in the 2nd half. The 1-2 in the dirt. And as Corey Kluber said at the top of our telecast, that's the kind of start the Astros have gotten off to. And there's no reason why you shouldn't applaud it after 51 games. It's been very impressive. If they continue this, then we're talking historic.
Yes, if they won't continue it for a whole year. They're going to hit a lull and they'll hit a slow period. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now, and they're a good ball team. But you know, if they stay healthy, they will be tough to catch.
Jason Kipnis drives one down that right field line. It's a foul ball. Here's something else to consider. When I said if the Astros continue to do this, we're talking historic. If the Indians don't score again tonight, they hold them to the 2 runs. The last time a pitching staff allowed only 130 runs through 52 games was the 1968 Cleveland Indians. Wow. Since 1928, that's the only other stat.
That's the last time that mound was up there. They lowered the mound after that year in 1968 with Tiant and the boys.
2-2, up and away.
Carlos Correa can set a record tonight for their team as well.
Kipnis goes down swinging. Well, we're off to the ninth. Astros 4, Indians 2. More if not for some good defense tonight.
Oh, Lindor's made some beautiful plays. That one right there, 105 off the bat of Altuve. He gets up. That ball, his glove stayed down and went up so quickly to get that ball. And then this double play, not an easy hop whatsoever. That got him out of that inning. The seventh before they can go in there and have a big eighth inning, but it just hasn't been enough. Only 2 runs on the board. But he's had a nice night defensively, no question.
Here in the ninth inning, Oliver Drake will be the 5th Indians pitcher of the night. Alex Bregman will lead off for Houston. He's 1 for 3, walked and scored in the 8th. High fly ball, left field. Michael Brantley converging with Raj. He calls him off. That's out number 1.
Stepping in now for the Astros, number 27, Jose Altuve.
Well, they were able to hold him down for his first 8 at-bats until he had to tie the game up on the first pitch. But you can't keep a good guy down. 2-run double in that 8th.
He's too good a hitter. You know he's going to get more than his fair share.
Yeah.
He's not hitting at his normally high average, but he still has piled up a boatload of hits. Last check, he was among the league leaders in just in overall hits. Yeah, he started the night 4th in the league in hits, and he was actually 10th in batting average, so he snuck into the top 10 in average at the start of the game. splits the outfielders here. Allen cuts it off. Altuve's going for 2, and he's in easily.
And I mean easily is right, because he breaks out of the batter's box. I'll tell you what, that's something to watch. I mean, he would have made it easily, and as an outfielder, you know he's hitting. You better get to that ball quickly and get it in as quickly as possible. You hesitate 1 second, and look, he didn't hesitate. He just kicked it in gear, and the throw never reaches second base. 7.5 seconds from home to second. So as an outfielder, that's going to put pressure on you. You know it. You got to get rid of it.
Carlos Correa 0 for 4. He breaks for third and then jams on the brakes and goes back. I didn't think he was bluffing the way he broke. Well, he slammed on the brakes.
They weren't holding him. So he took off, and then all of a sudden he didn't like his jump. There was something he didn't like of those first few steps and held up. And you see how far back Kipnis was. You got to keep him close. That's how you keep a guy from stealing third base.
Ripped to right. That's trouble. That goes to the wall. Altuve can jog home. Correa races into second, standing with an RBI double. And the Astros continue to add on. It's now 5-2. Back-to-back doubles here in the ninth.
Yeah, they've had 4 doubles in the last 2 innings, and there you go. A heater away, 94, but elevated. Shoots it into right field. So a couple of quick doubles. Gives him 1 more, makes it a 5-2 game. Correa's 33rd RBI.
Marwin Gonzalez 1 for 4 on the night. Takes a pitch down low. Actually 1 for 3. They changed the official scoring decision back in the 8th inning. Gave him credit for a sacrifice. Missed outside, a little low.
Thursday.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-1. Taken all the way. That's in there for a strike. Not sure why he just kind of backed away and gave up on it.
He sort of quick pitched him, I think. You know, he came quickly instead of just taking that pause for a second or two. And I think it surprised him.
And that's going to go foul in front of the bag. 2-2. Oh, he drilled him. Second Astros batter to be hit by a pitch, and that one might have left a mark.
There's a fastball right there, and that's a rib shot.
It looks like a glancing blow until you hear it.
No, it's solid. That's ooh.
He gets sent
He's taking some deep breaths. I'll tell you what, he
gets sent to a neutral corner in boxing for that.
Well, it looks like he's going to stay in there. May not feel too good, and he'll have some ice on it after the ball game, that's for sure. So now 3 straight have reached after getting the first out.
Down low. Ball 1 to Yuli Gurriel, who is 1 for 4 on the night. Smashed into left, the base hit. And Astros have loaded the bases again. That's the 3rd inning in a row they've loaded them up.
There's another fastball. It was the middle of the plate. And that one gets rifled into left field.
Out goes Carl Willis, pitching coach. Evan Gaddis is coming to the plate. This guy rarely gets cheated. He was hit by pitches last time. Checks on a ball, it's down in the dirt. Oliver Drake delivers, and that's a strike. 1-1.
Drake now with 17 pitches, 9 balls, 8 strikes.
And the 1-1. Broken bat, base hit, left field. That's going to get at least one home. Gonzalez coming to the plate. Here's the throw. It bounces, and he's safe. And the runners both move up. So now second and third. 2 runs are in. And the route is on once again. So it'll be a single. A couple of runs batted in for Gaddis.
Brantley's throw was there in time. It's just that Gomes couldn't pick that ball or hold on to it, or he would have had him out at the dish. And I want to see what this throw. It didn't look like it was too bad. Maybe a tough hop, yeah. Maybe a little too close to the plate. And once you raise it, you got the mask on, and that ball hit him in the shoulder.
Tough error for Michael Brantley, but that allows the hitter Gaddis to go to second. Infield still in. And then a ball fouled back out of play.
He advanced on a throw, no error.
Oh, no error.
I was going to say that is a tough error.
Okay.
Because he was off and running. I think he would have been there anyway.
Chop to third. It's fair, and he's tagged out at third, and the throw to first is picked by Alonso, but they can't get the double play.
He was caught in no man's land. He got off third base. That ball was going to beat him back, so Ramirez got it and just tagged him. And then on the throw, he didn't know which way to go. He was caught. And then the throw, another weak throw by Ramirez. That's 3 we've seen in 2 days. I don't know if his arm's hurting or not. But he's normally right there every time.
He looked like he never really got his feet set on
right,
that particular
nonchalant.
throw. But
Jake Marisnick, he was one of the culprits last night with the 3-run homer to straightaway center.
down low. And a foul ball. Right back up the middle, and that's through. Another hit. Around third, coming home to score is Evan Gaddis. Stopping at second, Max Stassi, and here comes Tito, and we've got to have another pitching change. The Astros have sent 8 men to the plate here in the 9th after they sent 10 men to the plate in the 8th. Josh Tomlin will be coming on when we come back. And it has gotten away for the second night in a row on back-to-back big innings.
For the Indians, now on to pitch.
Josh Tomlin represents the 6th Indians pitcher to work here tonight.
The batter for Houston, number 4, George Springer.
Yeah, when you can shut them out for 7, and the next thing you know, you look up, it's the 9th inning, they have 8 runs and 15 hits on the board. That's, well, I mean, what do you say? Tough to talk about it or say anything about it. They've just got to find a way to get some outs.
Now the 1-1. In there for a strike. Springer able to lay off. There's the pitch. And a high fly ball hit the deep left field. Brantley watching it go, and it's gone to the bleachers. And a 3-run homer for George Springer as captain. Ugly inning here in the 9th for Cleveland. It's a 7-run night for Houston.
And back down for Houston, number 2, Alex Bregman.
Well, he was all over that. That cutter stayed middle in, and it's not coming back.
This is hard to believe that the Indians had a 2-0 lead going into the 8th inning, and they're down now 11-2.
Right. Springer was coming to bat for the 4th time in the 8th inning, leading it off. And he's now hit 6 times. 3 hits on the night for him, and boy, oh boy, this has been 2 ugly innings.
Pitch is down and in. Strike. Swing and a foul. Gomes can't hang on. Grounded foul. Ground ball to third. Ramirez. Another low throw. Alonso able to save it. And the inning mercifully is over.
About it to take the lead. A beautiful squeeze play at home that was run to perfection. They got the right pitch, a curveball, a little easier to put down and deaden. Good base running by Altuve. That made it a 3-2 lead, but it did not stop. You see, he was off and off, 2 shuffles, and there in no time. And I'll tell you what, it turned the whole game around.
Well, think about Chicago. They tried to squeeze.
Right.
It
failed.
backfired.
Yes.
And
it was a 1-0 game, that one. Yep. Totally different.
Ramirez is rubbing that right arm.
Yeah,
you do have to wonder.
That's got to be. His arm's got to be killing him. You never see him. It's all last 3 times, or 3 in the last 2 days, all over the place.
Swung on and missed. And it count is 1-2.
Yes, he did.
He did not go, says first base umpire Lance Barrett. Fly ball right field. And Rajay Davis retired for out number 1. Tony Sipp delivers, and Eric Gonzalez slashes one down the right field line. A diving attempt by Springer, but he does not come up with it. And Eric Gonzalez is into second base with a one-out double. So, we heard from Andre earlier what the veterans have been telling Eric Gonzalez: when you get your opportunity, make the most of it. And even in an 11-2 game, he does exactly that.
Yeah, he sliced one to right field, and Springer with a really nice attempt right there. Goes off the end of the glove, but Gonzalez comes up and gets a base knock.
Well, this is in no way intended to point fingers or lay all of the blame at any one area of the ball club's feet, because that's not how team games are played. I think everybody understands that. But I think everybody also understands that roles need to be filled. Everybody needs to carry their own share of the weight. Right now, the Indians' relief corps has an earned run average of 623.
Yeah,
they have 12 losses if this score holds, and they're down 9. That would be tied for the most in the American League. If they can't figure out some way to get this straightened out or turned around, I don't know how this club's ever going to take off.
It can't. You cannot. If you can consistently, you have to win games. They did win a 1-run game in Chicago because the bullpen did a good job and held on to that one. They would have had to win a 2-0 game here tonight or a 2-1. Couldn't do it. And but the implosion in the last 2 nights, you can't give up late in the ball game 4 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs. You can't do it and survive, because you can't keep scoring runs. But you're right, it's just all part of the equation. And right now the bullpen's not pulling their weight.
And again, it's not a case where the position players are looking at the relievers and saying, come on, get your act together. But what you do worry about is, and we mentioned this before, is you don't want that seed of doubt in anybody's mind when that bullpen door opens. Somebody going, oh no.
What's going to happen now?
Yeah.
You're expecting something bad to happen instead of, okay, when you see somebody coming out, all right, let's go. Get your outs and move on, and let's pass the baton for them when you go, matchups. And, each guy has to go out and do their job. Just like an offense.
And we've already heard that, there's no quick fix available. Now, Jensen told us at the top of the show there was a trade made today. But trades this time of year are very rare. You just don't see a lot of deals being made. So the idea that there's a quick fix in the offing is not realistic, is in terms of finding that tonic via the trade market. Now it could reveal itself in another month or 2 months, but is that going to be too late if something doesn't turn around?
You're going to have to fix it internally. You can't look outside for help. You've got to fix it internally.
Payoff pitch, and Lindor pops it sky high foul to the right and out of play. And look, we've been around these guys for a number of years, and we know that every guy in that bullpen has a great deal of pride, and it's not like they're just showing up to work at 7:05 and saying, oh well. I mean, they're trying, they're doing everything they can, they're just not getting the results, and it has to be thoroughly frustrating for them. But you also worry about the cumulative effect of when you have a negative result followed by a negative result. That starts to creep into your head, and now you start doubting yourself when you go out there.
It's a game of adjustments, and those guys are going to have to start making some adjustments.
And a foul back by Lindor keeps the at-bat alive.
I'll tell you what, Frankie is not giving in. He's making Sip work to get him out. He's falling off 10 pitches now, he has seen.
Tony Sip, the veteran. And the left-hander's 3-2. Lindor smacks it down the left field line, and that's foul again.
Seven straight foul balls now for Lindor.
Again, the 3-2. And he walked him.
That was a heck of an at-bat.
The batter now will be Michael Brantley. And Brantley has 2 hits on the night, a double, a single, a run scored. He also stole a base. We will not be with you tomorrow night. Tune into your local Fox station for the nationally televised game between the Indians and Astros. We'll be back with you Sunday afternoon right here on Sports Time Ohio. Michael Brantley takes a pitch, down low, it's ball 1. And a ground ball to first. Gurriel goes to second. There's one. Back to first. Not in time. And the inning stays alive.
The batter now for the Indians, third baseman, Jose Ramirez.
So with 2 down, Jose Ramirez will bat. To the mound. Now the chat. And a little bit. No, I thought it was low. It's a called strike. Up 29,431 were here at the outset. Many of them have already headed to the plaza to watch the end of the Cavaliers game on TV to get some good news. Cavaliers up 7 with 3 minutes to go in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Jose Ramirez awaits the 1-2 pitch. And he grounds it to third. Bregman goes to second, and that's the game. So the Indians get wiped out for the second night in a row by the Houston Astros. This time the final score is Houston 11 and Cleveland 2. The less said about this one, perhaps the better.
Yeah, right.
This was not pretty on any level. It was a great game through 6. And Corey Kluber actually took it through 7, thanks to Andrew Miller, who got the double play ball to get out of that 7th inning. But in the 8th and 9th innings, the bullpen had a complete meltdown, and the Astros ran away with it. And now